Oh, you know what I love?
Sports.
I love sports.
Sports.
When it comes to Texas A&M.
Where are you getting this information?
Let me tell you.
Welcome to TexAgs.
TexAgs Live.
I feel like I should be listening to the theme song from the Jeffersons. You know, we're moving on up.
We will develop men, we will graduate players, and we will win championships on the field.
It's a blessing to be in this position, and we're just thankful to be here. We're thankful for the opportunity to go out there and play in front of the 12 men.
He is a guy that has gotten better and better and better. He's just got that dog in him.
It's been special. The 12th man this past week was unbelievable.
And this is a real program. It's not fake. This is a real place. And if you want to be really good at football, this is a really good place to be.
You know, if I'm betting on anybody, it's the Aggies.
True story. Okay, you already know the story. I already told you, but it's a true story. This morning, woke up 4:30 a.m. on my own, no help from an alarm, feeling energized and refreshed. I never wake up like that.
It's game week, man.
It's game week. Today's the official Monday show that starts off the 2025 Texas A&M football season.
This will be my 44th consecutive football season as a reporter.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Did you start when you were 6?
19.
Oh, wow. That's right. You did start young.
When I was, I think it's 44, maybe 43. But anyway, whatever. It started in 81. Covered the Hallsville Bobcats at the Jacksonville Fighting Indians in the Tomato Bowl. First game, but this is, I've moved up. Now we're talking about
this is a
Texas
bigger deal.
A&M. It is a bigger deal.
This is a much bigger deal. I am pumped, man. And I'm always pumped for football season, but maybe the very long off season that we had this year, and I've already detailed why I think this long off season has felt longer for me and for us, is that the A&M sports, the big three, I should say, because the other sports, carry the weight, but the big three, basketball didn't disappoint. That's not fair. I think basketball did not disappoint. They disappointed. They didn't go as far as I think their potential was, but they had a good season.
They had a good season.
Right?
We're not so great at basketball now that a win in the NCAA tournament is just one win. It's not
right. But the reason it was disappointing was the build-up. This is your senior year team, right? Your team with a lot of veterans finally get to the Sweet 16 or Elite 8. So that's why, and then losing 2 out of 3 to your rival. That sucked. Baseball ending early and being 1 to terrible to really good again to losing
to Missouri.
Oh yeah,
getting swept at home. Oh my God!
Sorry for bringing that up, but I think that's all part of my why.
Yes,
it's finally
even softball.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So it's time for change it all this year. Get back in that mode of winning at a high level,
right? And
start off with football.
Football is here. Football time in College Station. So why will this year be different, OB?
Well,
that breath. Do that again. That was awesome.
Second year under a head coach is typically better. Guys, not always, but typically. Guys understand the system more. There's more familiarity with the coach. Now you could say, but in 2012, they started great, and then they weren't as good in 2013. Yeah, but you didn't have the same coaches.
And the defense in 2013 was historically bad.
But anyway, so it happens. But typically, your team in a second year with a coach is a little bit better. And quite frankly, I have a lot of admiration and respect for the job that Mike Elko does. I do not think it is a coincidence that A&M's football trajectory changed
when he left
for Duke.
I feel, and we can fact check this, but I feel like you said that when he left. You were very worried.
Yes, we wanted him to stay. I remember Tomas Romo was talking about the Duke job and Jason Garrett being a candidate. I'm like, yes.
Take Jason. That's right.
And we were saying, we want him to hire Jason Garrett. And he's like, what are you talking about? Because we don't want him to hire Mike Elko.
But hiring Mike Elko was the best thing that could happen to Texas A&M, because let's say he didn't get that job and he had to wait a year. We might be in a different situation right now. It worked out the way it was supposed to work out.
It worked out fine. He's here now. But, I wish he'd never left.
Yeah. Well, in a moment, we're going to hear from Will Lee on the disrespect.
Yeah.
And I hate to be a part of the disrespect. I don't think I'm part of the disrespect because I don't mean it disrespectfully. I mean, when I think of 9-3, 8-4, I think more of the challenging schedule than I think of Texas A&M as this is what we do.
Okay.
Right? Like when I think of it, I think of like, you give Texas this schedule. And I know Texas's schedule this year is much harder.
Is it?
Yeah. Going to Ohio State week 2, I think we'll see at the end of the year.
Well, I mean, last year they were going to place on the road to play the national championship.
But I don't think Michigan, the step back that Michigan took is as big of a step back as Ohio State took.
Or I think you mean that reverse. You don't think Ohio State's
Yes, correct.
But they didn't know that Michigan had stepped back that far.
But you did lose your coach. You lost a lot more than just. But Ohio State has Jeremiah Smith.
They do.
They have that. They have that guy.
Michigan had Donovan Edwards. Was that his name?
Yeah, but I still think it's different. Say that again, Luke.
And Colston Loveland. They had weapons.
And they had Alex Orji.
They did. They did have him. Anyway, I think if you give, and I'm not saying Texas A&M has the hardest schedule in college football. They have a very difficult schedule. But I think when I think of their schedule, where your away games are, and who's coming to Kyle Field, that's where I think of the disrespect as why they will be tweeners at 9-3 and 8-4. If you gave me Missouri's schedule, I might say 11-1, 10-2.
I probably would.
Nick, do you have that schedule handy? I mean, just for...
You want to see Missouri's?
Yeah, just show me Missouri's. We play this game all the time, and this is probably a game that we need to tap out at some point. But, I mean, tell me where that first loss is.
Well, I'm taking Missouri over Central
Alabama.
Arkansas and Kansas. My view's somewhat blocked. So Louisiana, I'm going to take them over there. Then they're going to play.
They're going to host South Carolina.
Okay, that could be a loss. Probably is.
No, if this was A&M though.
Oh, if this is A&M, okay. Then
I'm taking A&M in that game right now,
especially if it's at home. UMass, okay, Alabama, Auburn, Vandy.
Maybe 10-2 with that schedule.
Yeah, I would feel
9-3, 10-2 would be what I would say with that. So that's where my disrespect comes from, even though I don't mean it disrespectfully. I just worry about the away games for obvious reasons. But I think they're very capable of doing everything we've discussed.
Oh, absolutely. I would sit here today and say I'd expect them to win at Missouri. I would. They have to finally win at LSU before I can. But I don't see why going in 3 weeks, going up to Notre Dame would be considered, oh, well, there's a loss you got to take. Well, I don't think there's a team on the schedule, and that includes Notre Dame and Texas, that A&M can't beat.
Let's listen to Will Lee, shall we?
Yeah.
You were at the press conference.
I was there.
He does not like the 8-4 moniker.
You know, everybody wants to win. You know, that's the main thing. Like, I'm tired. Everybody's tired of seeing us saying we're going to be an 8-4 team and stuff like that. So it's really disrespectful. And, you know, everybody's taking that on the heart. So everybody's coming out here every day working hard and just trying to be the greatest team we can be and then change the history of Texas A&M football. It's been going positive. You know, everybody's moving in a positive direction with it. And, you know, we have our ups and downs on certain days. You know, we're human, you know. But our goal is to come out every day and execute and play 4 quarters of football. So that's what we've been doing.
So what would you consider a good season for Texas A&M?
SEC championship and a national championship. That's a good season.
That would be a good season.
I might celebrate that.
Yeah, I think I would.
I think that show would be the best show we've ever done. That right after that national championship.
Yeah, I might actually get drunk for the first time in about 40 years.
I might join you first time in 20 years.
Because I'm celebrating, of course. Yeah. I'd be intoxicated just on the Aggie victories. Yeah. He talks about being feeling disrespected at 8-4, and then later he says we want to change the history.
Yeah.
So,
buddy, whatever edge you need. That's how I look. Because
I don't I don't feel like it's disrespectful when someone projects A&M to finish 8-4. I think if you've won 10 games consistently and someone says they're going to be 8-4, then that's disrespectful. But you got to go out and prove. You got to out and earn the respect, and you don't earn the respect by consistently going 8-4.
But I want my competitors in there to say, don't judge me based on what other people did. Judge me on me.
That's right. But it's not always the same guys at A&M. It's been different guys, and they're consistently at 8-4 or worse. So take that. Like I said, I don't think it's, quote, disrespectful, but take that and go change the history. And that's the part that I want to see. I understand why people are projecting A&M to finish 8-4.
Well, how do you change history? I mean,
you go out and win.
You go out and win. But like this year, you start with, I believe, you start taking down these roadblocks, not benchmarks, these roadblocks. The roadblock that I brought up too many times on this show, winning on the road against a ranked team. Go do that in week 3.
Yes.
Then it changes.
Well, if they look, first of all, you got to get by Texas UTSA because that's a good program.
Mm-hmm.
And then Utah State, and then go. But if you go and win at Notre Dame in 3 weeks, everybody in the national media is going to change their opinion of Texas A&M. But like you said, you got to go on the road and beat a team that's right. That has that respect.
Change storylines, and let's talk about the storylines that have to change. Keeping your quarterback healthy.
Yeah, that's a big
right.
one.
And winning on the road against a ranked team.
Right.
And I'm going to include. Let's slay another dragon. How about you go to Baton Rouge and you finally win? Okay, that's how you change that.
They've been so close the last 2 times.
They were robbed.
But you know what?
Make the play.
You don't have to put yourself in that position.
Yeah. But if we want to change that narrative, we do want to change it. There's no if.
Yeah. To change that narrative.
To change that narrative, they've got to change those storylines.
Yeah.
And if you do 1, 2, or 3 of those things, now we're talking about that 10-2 season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, for A&M, I've said it before, it really comes down to, in those big games, is making the plays that are there to be made. I can look at the game against Notre Dame last year. Early in the game, they were driving the ball right down the field, throwing the ball on the flat to E.J. Smith. It was a bad pass, but somewhat catchable. I mean, that's a touchdown waiting to happen.
Yeah,
it's tied, and Notre Dame's looking at 3rd and 5 or 3rd and 6. Get in there and make the stop, get the ball back, and go win the game. Texas, there was a interception that could have been missed. There was a sack that could have been missed. There was 2 4th and 1s.
Mm-hmm.
Deep in their end of the field, you didn't convert. Auburn, a drop snap, a dropped pass. There's, not getting a. So make the plays that are there to be made. That. It doesn't even take great plays. It just makes the plays that are there to be made.
So on Friday with Billy, we discussed not only finishing games, starting games off correct. Yeah. It's really just play a full game, right? Because I'm a believer. The South Carolina game, yes, a lot went wrong, especially late in that game. Obviously, Le'Veon gets hurt. The 4th quarter was a disaster. But I think if you make plays early in that game, if you get to Lenore Sellers on that 3rd play of the game, I think that the game is just played differently. You score 7-0 in Texas, the game is played differently.
Maybe. We know how it was played without those plays,
right.
So maybe it would have been.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying, hey, you got to go out and make these great plays. You're playing well enough to win, but you just got to, in the key moments, make the play. Just the ones that are there to be made.
All right, I'm going to switch up the order on you.
All right,
we're going to see if you're really locked in for football season.
Okay, I'm locked in.
What's the name of this studio?
This studio? That's
exactly what I said. Yeah.
Yeah. This is the Rollo Insurance Studio.
Okay. And then if I were to ask you the platform that we're sitting on.
This is the Holistic Planning Cool Zone.
It is cool, isn't it?
It's pretty cool. In fact, Luke came in here and he was complaining about it being too cool in here.
Yeah, well, sometimes.
Okay. Well, when someone says, "Oh gosh, it's cold in here,"
that means they're complaining.
That's a complaint.
Yeah. I'm filing that complaint with HR upstairs, Jacob. All right, and then this actual hour also has a name.
Well, this hour is the Go Hour.
Yeah, thank you for. Yeah, that's presented by
the warehouse at CC Creations.
I'm the only one who laughs at this. And this show, the entire show,
TexAgs Live,
presented by
David Gardner's Jewelers.
And if you want to be a part of the conversation, tell them, OB.
Yeah, you call us up on the Puppies Catering and Bartending Hotline.
That number I forgot.
979-693-1150.
Yeah. You can text that number as well.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah. You'll read it. No, I will. I'll read it. Or Luke will read it. Let's go around the room and say hi to the people left to right. We go behind the glass and say hi to the Director of the Year, Nick Savage. Nick, good morning.
Howdy, good morning, y'all.
Hello, sir. How
I
are
think
you?
some people would argue with you about that statement, but I appreciate it, David.
Yeah, you're my dog.
Yeah. How was the traffic getting in first day of school for y'all? Well, not y'all.
Well, usually I get in. My morning does not start when I walk in. Like I've been working already, but I don't get into the studio till about 7:45, 7:50. I walked in at 7:52 because I drop off the kids at school on the way here, and there was a lot more traffic on 6 than I'm used to.
Well, I got up. I left the house about, I'd say 5:15. Got to my gym, and then about 6:30.
What's that?
I said absolute unit. OB, discipline.
Well, no, but I need to get disciplined, and then got here.
Discipline does equal freedom.
And then I was here about what did you say, Nick? What time did I come dragging in? About
not too long after I got here.
10 to 7.
Yeah.
And then we could discuss it later off the air, but I forgot to make the rundown until 4:44 this morning. So Nick had no idea what he was preparing for.
No, I knew what was going on, but hope everyone has a good first day of school. I know we might have some people listening in a little bit later just because of the traffic, but it's freaking game week, man. That's the first thing OB said to me. It's game week, Nick.
Game week.
Finally something to talk about, and really looking forward to it. And I'm glad we got a little taste this Saturday, that Iowa State, Kansas State game.
Good game.
Little sloppy, but it was a good game at the end of it. So, just excited for this week.
Yeah, at 8:20, I'm going to have Luke kind of go through some of those games. But let's check in with Luke Evangelist at the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. He does still shine shoes. You don't typically do you don't know where that reference is from, do you?
Nope.
You want to tell him?
Thank you, Goodfellas.
Goodfellas. Spider? No? Nothing?
Nothing.
Yeah. You don't watch classics?
I've watched The Sopranos. Does that count?
Okay, that counts. I'll give you credit on that. But you typically do not do the Social Center anymore because you've kind of graduated from that. But it's game week. We had to have you on.
Yeah, one thing I haven't graduated from is school either. It is my 18th grade first day of classes today for me and Cade Bickham. So like Nick said, shout out to all the students that are out there having their first day of classes. It is also game week, but we have a lot more to celebrate. The big news of the week, even bigger than I think it being football game week, is that we are 10 weeks away from college basketball returning. How exciting is that?
Why is he here?
Look, I love you love basketball.
I do.
We love basketball. But it's like going to somebody's birthday party and talking about the next dude's birthday party.
Yeah.
Today is about football. I can't wait. 10 weeks?
Yeah, 10 weeks. Well, today's also about volleyball because A&M volleyball starts their highly anticipated year 3 under Jamie
Big
Morrison.
game, right?
Big time game. They are ranked number 9. They're playing number 11 Minnesota in a top 15 matchup at the AVCA First Serve event in Sioux Falls at 7:30 p.m. tonight. Make sure y'all tune in for the much anticipated start of year 3 for Jamie Morrison and A&M volleyball.
Great stuff, Luke. I appreciate you. When we come back, let's get an update on all the games for this weekend.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah. Did you see? We'll talk about it in the next segment. We actually won't spend too much time. I know you saw the video of Avery Johnson's dad
Getting in a fight.
Yeah, with his son.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've apologized.
Oh, that's nice. They sent out a release.
Yeah. What?
You know what?
Ireland to get into a fight.
You know what they were probably arguing about?
Probably arguing about food.
Yeah, where to go.
Like someone probably said, the best food in the world that you can get is here in Dublin. Yeah. Like, what are you talking about?
That's
the best food in the world is at $17.75 Texas barbecue. You can't do better than that.
No, well,
I'd fight for that.
Do you even Quinn?
I wouldn't have to.
Okay, because he'd agree.
Because he'd agree.
The taste test, the taste challenge,
All
like
you
the Pepsi and Coke taste test.
Yeah, but it's that succulent brisket. You can get a Pepsi and a Coke. I guess you can get a Coke there.
I don't know.
But they got that. Yeah, you can.
I don't do soft drinks.
Well, I do.
I'm not in that community.
Yeah, I know. I get you can get that succulent brisket.
Yeah, I like that.
That jalapeno cheese sausage, those pork ribs, those pork ribs on the turkey. And, of course, you got to get the queso mac and cheese.
I'm a little offended the way you say turkey. Look at me. Like you think that's the only thing I eat.
No, it's not the only thing. He eats chicken and broccoli as well.
You can probably get, I don't know if you can get broccoli there, but you can get chicken there.
Yeah,
you can get anything you want.
If it walks on the ground, they'll kill it and barbecue it for you.
1775txbbq.com, 979-492-6241. Say something witty.
It's good.
Hey everyone, David Nuño and Olin Buchanan and OB. Typically we start off the show in this section and we call it the Holistic Planning Cool
The cool zone, yeah. It's pretty cool.
What do we know about holistic planning?
Well, a lot of cool stuff. For instance, holistic planning can help you with your investments.
I love that.
They can help you with your taxes. So
I don't like paying taxes.
You can get that money from your investments and they keep it. They'll help you keep it away from the government.
Yep.
Not all of it, but more of it. And then they'll even help you with your estate planning. When you're old like me, you got to make sure some of that money you made is there for when you want to retire and just enjoy the rest of your life.
You want your estate to be planned. But they also do something else.
Yeah, well, if you are, like, say, a sports fan, and you've always wanted to...
Everybody watching us, right?
Yeah. And you want to always dream of being an owner, well, in a certain way you can, because they will broker the deal for you to invest in pro sports.
Yeah, what you need to do is check out investinprosports.com. That's where you can get all the information if you want to invest in a team. I don't know what team. He'd probably try to buy the Cowboys. I'd try to buy a lot of the Houston teams. Whatever it may be, investinprosports.com. It is holistic planning, and we love hanging out at the Holistic Planning Cool Zone. And we're back. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio, The Go Hour, presented by The Warehouse at CC Creations. We go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Luke Evangelist. I enunciate a lot of letters there. You have a couple of texts for us, and then we're going to try to look at what's happening or what happened over the weekend.
Yeah, I've got a good text from Rob from Dudley's Draw. He said, "Hello, gentlemen. Let's get down to business. To win the SEC, who will have to play better, the offense or the defense?" And I'm so glad you asked this question because over the summer I did some research on the last 9 SEC championship games, and you would be surprised to find that every single team that's won the SEC for the last decade had a top 5 scoring offense, but only 7 of the 9 teams had a top 5 scoring defense. So it is important. 16 of the last 18 teams to play in the SEC championship game were either top 3 offensively or defensively. So it is important to have both, but offense comes just slightly more important, being top 5 or top 3 in offense.
Well, I would say if the question is what's more the defense, because the offense
led the conference in conference games in scoring.
Yeah.
So once again, Luke was given a direct question.
Yeah, he avoided it.
And avoided it.
Yeah,
but so the answer, the correct answer is...
I was just using facts and stats, historical data.
You were asked a direct question, and you went all over the place. Someone asked you what time it was. You asked them you told them how to build a watch. So the answer
he's got a point.
All right,
the answer to the question is...
You know what it sounds like to me?
They have to
Luke
be better.
had this amazing stat that he had looked up, and he couldn't wait to
It's
insert.
been in his back pocket for 6 months.
Wait till they ask that question. You know what a behavioral interview is?
Yeah.
Right? You have like 5 answers that you can answer any question they ask you. That's exactly what you did there. Good job.
Hey, but it sparked dialogue between you two to then tear that down and give your own opinion. So in reality, I was just being like a really great point guard, lobbing it up for you to slam it home.
Well, I think your point is correct. To win the SEC, you need to be great at both.
Yeah.
Right? If we're talking about where A&M stands, I think the defense is still the biggest question mark.
I think so, and I think the offense will be, and we've said this for the last, 6-7 months, the offense will be better than it was last year. And it was a championship caliber offense until Le'Veon got hurt, and I think.
Yeah.
Look, I always say,
I don't care who you are. I do care who you are, but I don't care who you are. If your best offensive player goes down, your offense is going to take a hit, and your team's going to take a hit. That's how it works. I don't make the rules. It's just the facts.
Very often. I mean, 9 times out of 10, that's going to be the case. Sometimes you might have a really good backup that steps in.
And A&M had a really good backup step in.
And he was really good. And he's, you know what? Over the last, I think career yardage-wise, Amari Daniels has rushed for more yardage than anybody else on the A&M roster.
Amari's been fantastic. Yeah. But what made A&M go was Le'Veon Moss.
Yeah. That physicality that he brought.
So that'll bring up a question, and maybe we'll hold off on getting to the other games because we're almost up for a break. But, OB, when thinking about this year's running game, all right, let's talk about the first 3 weeks of the season as a gauge, right? How much are we going to see of these backs? How do you think this plays out with Le'Veon? I guess we'll find out today when we talk to Coach Elko. How much can we expect of a load for Le'Veon with Ruben? Because both are coming off injuries. Oh, Amari had surgery as well. So, while I feel fantastic about the running game, I do wonder how healthy are these guys to go. I've been told they're healthy, so they should be fine.
Yeah, I kind of take them at their word until they tell me I can't.
Right.
Look, if Le'Veon's back at 100%, then I expect him to probably get
10 carries.
Oh no,
against UTSA?
No, I mean I think 15 minimum.
You think?
With a guy like that?
I don't know. There's a part of me that's like, you've got 3 guys that are very capable, and he's coming from injury. You want him to be at his best for Notre Dame. Do you do a periodization model where you kind of ramp up his carries?
If he's your starter, I'm going to use him. And the thing about Le'Veon, he rarely gets the long run. So Le'Veon's
he's a volume runner.
He's a sledgehammer.
Yeah.
He's going to get you 5 yards, and then eventually he's going to hit one where somebody's going to think they have him tackled, and he's going to bounce out and turn it to 20 or 25 yards, and then your change of pace. So Ruben's going to go out there, and he may be the guy that's going to, look like he's got 4, and the next thing you know, he's got 40 or 50.
One guy I don't think we've talked enough about is Terry Bussey.
Another guy that, we called him the X Factor earlier this year.
Yep.
That has a great amount of ability. And if it all comes together for him, and you look at what else they have at receiver now, then he can be the key to A&M being a really good offense and being a great one.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Need somebody to take that top off the defense, and he could do it.
Let's get an update on those games from the weekend when we come back here on TexAgs Live. We're talking Heritage Films right now. That's Chance McClain's company. They do documentary films about families, family businesses, and family ranches. If you've got a family ranch, you really need to consider having this done for your family. It's a 2-hour documentary that Chance will come with his entire team and tell the origin story for the future generations to understand what your operation looks like now and how it's evolved over the years. You really want to do this for your family, especially for the future generations. You got a father you want to honor, you should do a documentary on him as well. You do not have to be a celebrity to have a documentary done about you. This is we did one for my dad a couple years back. 2-hour documentary from Chance and his team. It was fantastic. Check out the website to learn more information, yourheritagefilm.com. That is yourheritagefilm.com. Call them up, 713-893-8341. It is Heritage Films. Let's talk a little Snaps clothing. David Nuño here, and I love wearing Snaps clothing everywhere. I've got the flannel on right now. You've seen me in the Tailgater collection with the A&M gear. It is fantastic. If you see me around town with my sons, Christian and Cruz, they've got a bunch of Snaps gear. When they have big games for Consol, they wear nice clothes, so they wear their Snap stuff. And I'm telling you, with baseball season here, let's all kind of go looking stylish and fit to the games there at Olson wearing the Snaps clothing. As a reminder, they are the only official licensed Texas A&M Pearl Snaps maker out there. Their Tailgater collection is built for game day with breathable, moisture-wicking fabrics to keep you comfortable while you rep your Aggies in style. Now, whether you're watching the game from home or maybe you're in attendance, you're tailgating, whatever it may be, you got to make sure you head to snapsclothing.com to see everything they have to offer. It is fashionable, it is awesome, and you're going to love it. Another reason to be excited, our football calendar has begun for the show.
Oh, really? Tell me more.
I'm glad you asked, Opie. So I ask you, why, David, did you change the calendar? I changed the calendar because it's football season. Marty Smith, going to be our new Monday 9 a.m. guest.
Oh,
from ESPN.
That's a great guest.
He's a great guest.
Good guy.
Very friendly human being, and I love his show. So we'll have Marty Smith on Mondays. Thank you to Academy Sports and Outdoors for helping facilitate that.
I think the TexAgs population will applaud that.
Yeah, they like that one. Yeah, no controversy, no threads.
Hey, we should put out a graphic.
For some reason, your mic's not.
TexAgs has partnered with Marty Smith. That seems to be like all the rave these days.
Yes. Should we do some controversial tweets too, just to get fan bases upset, like certain people that are unfiltered? Anyway, OB.
Yes, David.
Let's. Billy Liucci for 2 hours.
Liucci for 2 hours.
Okay, let's be honest. More like an hour and 40. Maybe it longer because we may go long, but at least an hour and 40. Maybe an hour 43.
Yeah, I would think 2 hours is being very generous because then you're expecting that he's going to be on time.
No, but we may do an overtime from time to time.
Okay. Right.
Today's our preview show. So, we're going to start doing the Luchador every Sunday. Right, maybe not on every bye week.
Why don't you wear the mask during that?
Because the year of the mask, if I remember correctly, was 5-7.
Okay. Good.
So
good
8-4, 2021. Somebody went and bought the mask, so we're like, hey, we'll do it next year, yay! And then we started losing. So it hasn't been that much better, but it's been better than 5-7.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Okay.
But if we win a national championship, I'm wearing mask. I'm wearing a Batman mask on show for sure.
Well, you do that anyway.
This is true. All right, let's get to the topic.
Okay.
We had games this weekend.
Yeah. It was like the appetizer.
Thanks for agreeing, Luke. Thanks.
There were games, yeah. I turned on the TV and there was college football on. You're right.
I didn't get to watch as much as I wanted to. This was my last free Saturday to do certain home events, and we had a soccer tournament. But I did catch up a lot of the games. But I want you to catch me up.
Yeah, so there were 5 games. Obviously, the big headliner was Farmageddon in Ireland between Iowa State and Kansas State. The big news coming out of that one was, like you said, Avery Johnson's dad fighting Avery Johnson's brother.
Did we ever find out the why behind it?
I don't know, because Avery Johnson did throw for 273 yards and 2 touchdowns. So I wonder what a family member would be mad about.
He was stopped on a 4th and 1, though.
He was, and I think that was a little bit controversial. I think it was a bad spot, and that totally flipped the game. But at the end of the day, they had plenty of chances to stop Iowa State's offense, who drove down the field late and just iced the clock. But
yeah, and I thought it was very interesting. I think if I remember correctly, on that drive where he got stopped, Iowa State came back and scored.
Yeah.
And then they scored on the very next play.
Literally one play, 65-yard touchdown immediately. And it was funny because as this was also my last free Saturday, so I was parked up on the couch all day, not doing anything, just watching college football. I said to my friend, I was like, this is such a boring game because neither of these teams are really a threat to do anything through the air. And sure enough, about 10 seconds later, Kansas State had that long touchdown. So once again, proving do not listen to me during football
Well, we
season.
know that. There was another interesting stat. I forget the Iowa State quarterback's name.
Rocco Beck.
19 straight games with a touchdown pass, which is, I think, the most in college football, or the longest active streak.
Yeah, he's been there for a while. He's Unk, as the kids would say.
Unk. All right, what else? What other games?
Yeah, that wasn't the only game. One of the more underrated games where you look at it and you're like, okay, nobody's watching that, but actually people were tuned in on the Mountain West Network, was Idaho State and UNLV. And UNLV with Dan Mullen has become like, I don't want to say the last chance U, but that might be the best way to describe it, of a lot of former highly recruited players like Denver Harris. And Idaho State was winning for the majority of that game. It took a late drive from UNLV to come back and win 38-31. Kansas blew out Fresno State. That was expected, 31-7. Western Kentucky beat Sam Houston 41-24. And then the late game was Hawaii and Stanford. And this was peak Pac-12 after dark, except none of these teams are in the Pac-12 anymore. Stanford was winning for the majority of the game. Hawaii's quarterback gets hurt. He's playing on one leg, leads them down the field. Their kicker, who's from Japan, learned how to kick from YouTube videos, kicks a game-winning field goal to beat Stanford.
That's a Disney movie coming. That is a Disney movie.
It was unbelievable.
The kicker was on one leg, too.
Hawaii always has an interesting quarterback situation.
They do. They've got this redshirt freshman now who they're praising as like the next great Hawaii quarterback Micah Alejodo.
What was the name of that one a couple years ago?
Well, the good one, Cole Brennan.
Cole Brennan, and then Timmy
Chang.
Timmy Chang.
Who's the coach now?
Yeah, he's the coach.
That's right. He is the coach, yeah. He's already old enough to be a coach. Well, I guess you could be old enough at 24.
I remember that year, 07. I think it was 07 when they had a huge year and they went undefeated. And their big win was over Washington, which was horrible. And I remember writing about before the Sugar Bowl that I wrote that Georgia was going to win by like 3 touchdowns. And man, I got so much hate mail from like everybody in Hawaii. And, they deserved credit for doing what they did, but I'd watched them play against San Jose State earlier that year, and they gave up 5 sacks to San Jose State. And I'm thinking, Marcus Houston, Georgia defenseman, he's going to have a monster game. Yeah. And he did. And if Mark Richt wasn't such a nice person, it would have been a 50-0 game. They got kind of introduced to what, real football was like.
How long did that hate mail take to get from Hawaii to your house?
Well, there's this thing called the internet.
Oh, I didn't know you were covering college football while the internet. I thought this was like a pre-internet story.
Yeah, they had emails and everything.
Oh, wow.
So, they almost instantaneous.
Your whole life, you've known the internet, right?
I have, yeah.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah. I like that.
Do you remember the first time you got on the internet?
I don't want to know what OB searched up the first time he got on the internet.
In Austin.
I think I've said this before.
What's his email?
There was a thing called Prodigy. Remember Prodigy?
Yeah.
The old dial-up, and it was its own. It was terrible. You wouldn't understand the Prodigy world. AOL.
I've heard of AOL.
It was like its own little internet, tiny little internet, its own little server, and it would give you baseball scores and football scores. It was the greatest thing. It would maybe be like 10 minutes delayed, but it was so great.
I've had to, at one time, type up a post-game article on a manual typewriter.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even have to do that.
I know, it sucked.
There was Candlelight, too, and anytime he messed up, he would take his little feather pen.
It wasn't the 1800s. It was the early 1930s.
Luke is such a punk.
Oh, and then you're going to teach all the new interns how not to do the social studies.
Yeah, don't poke fun at OB.
Yeah, it won't work out. All right, we'll hit a break. We'll come back with Around the SEC, brought to you by the Jackson Group. Right now, when insurance matters most, who's going to answer your call? Who's going to answer their call? Rollo Insurance.
Rollo Insurance.
Yeah, just make sure.
I actually kind of zoned out, so I didn't
figured. I saw your eye.
Know what spot you were doing.
You know what it reminds me?
What?
Sometimes Billy's answering something, and I kind of zone out because I'm wondering what the next thing we're going to do. And then I'll ask him something he just said. He goes, I just said that. That happens to me.
I'm going to have to stay more aware, more alert.
What does this have to do with Rollo Insurance? They don't correct you. They help you. That's what they do. Like if you have any insurance situation, they're going to help you before. So when crisis strikes, they've already got a plan in place for you. You're talking about super local agents. They're going to take great care of you. They're going to know your situation. They're going to know your family by names. You're going to have their personal cell phone numbers. They are amazing, and they are right here, their headquarters in College Station on Highway 6. The difference is real with Rollo Insurance. 60 offices in Texas and beyond Texas as well. Call them up, 888-44-ROLLO. 888-44-ROLLO. Go to rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs. It's Rollo Insurance.
I know we've done this bit before, but what is he saying in this line? Does anybody know what he's saying?
I don't know.
Red Hot Chili Peppers? Billy's going to get mad at me when he hears me not remembering. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. Go Hour, presented by The Warehouse at CC Creations. We go around the SEC, brought to you by the Jaxer Group. And we've got Nick Savage. Nick, tell me some stuff happening in the SEC.
Well, I figured we could just go through the Week 1 slate for the SEC, and y'all two and Luke can tell me whether you care or you don't care, but you have to say it like that, all right?
I care.
Okay, here we go. Thursday, August 28th, we got a heater right off the bat. Missouri versus UCA.
I'm actually interested because I want to see the change in Missouri. They're going to have no problem with UCA, but I want to see what they look like. I'm interested.
Don't care.
Thank you, OB.
But don't care.
The papers.
That's their toughest non-conference schedule game.
Because it's central. I mean, you can go out and score 60 points and look good.
I just want to see
it. And it means nothing.
Okay. Sorry. I got overruled. I lost that one.
Well, no, just because I don't care doesn't mean you can still care.
What is this accent? Is it Boston?
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't care either, OB. We'll move on here. Friday night, I do care about this one. Auburn at Baylor, McLean Stadium. That's going to be a fun one.
But here's my question for the group.
I just heard Matthew Dawson turn the volume up.
Do we care? I'm going to say it like normal humans. Do we care what happens to Auburn in this game? Do we want Auburn to look good so when we beat Auburn it feels good? Or do we want Auburn to look bad so we know we're going to beat them anyway? It doesn't matter sometimes, by the way.
I don't care because last year...
Who are you?
Last year, Auburn sucked, and they still beat us. So
it's like,
so I don't care.
It's like John F. Kennedy and like Karen mixed.
Olin Buchanan.
I don't care. I'm always going to root for the SEC team, especially if A&M plays them, because if you beat them, I mean, you got to play them anyway. So they might as well play a good team, and it makes you look better when you win.
With the birds, I share this lonely view.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Was that the song?
Yeah. David Edmond, who hasn't texted the show in 7 seconds. All right, go ahead. Oh, sorry, is that you?
Yeah, it's Nick.
Nick, sorry.
Number 1 at number 3, Ohio State. Big noon kickoff. That's in Columbus, Ohio. I care.
True story. It's hard for me to watch a Texas game.
Why is that?
I just don't like watching them. I don't want the colors in my eyes. I don't want to see burnt orange and white. I don't want to see it. But I'll watch, yes, but I don't want to.
I can, Nick. And I'll tell you why. It's funny to me because, as you know, I grew up a big Texas fan, and I really don't have a problem with the team itself. I mean, they're doing what you're trying to do. You're trying to win games, right? But their fans, over the last 13 years I've worked here, have made me hate them. So, so I can't.
But I think.
But I don't like Ohio State either.
But if you had to hang out with one, who are you hanging out with? I have to admit, Arch Manning seems like a very lovely fellow.
He's Arch Manning is the kind of guy that unless he's from your rival, you can say, yeah, I like that kid.
Yeah. And I think Anthony Hill, very likable character.
Should be here.
But he's not. Sark, kind of likable.
Let's pump the brakes a little bit there.
Not the pants.
All gas, no brakes, OB.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to pump the brakes on that one. Yeah.
There's this term called hate watching, and growing up a Michigan fan and now going to A&M, I'm having a very confusing hate watch for that game because no matter who wins,
you lose.
I lose.
But you really win if Ohio State wins.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's be honest. Like it doesn't. They already won the national championship, right?
Yeah. Nothing more could possibly hurt me.
Yeah. And your team, your second team.
My second team. Yep.
Won 2 years ago.
Exactly.
Nick.
Next game I'll bring up, kind of a one I feel like no one really talks about. Syracuse taking on number 24 Tennessee. Yeah, it's because we don't care. That one's at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia. So I think that's the Chick-fil-A kickoff game, or I don't know if it's sponsored by them.
That's the kickoff game?
But yeah, that's where that one is.
Huh. I care-ish. Yeah, like, I'll check in. It's not like one I'm going to be glued to the television. I'll check in. I'm a checker.
Second career. I care.
The game's it's not a great game, but it's fair. Luke has a lot of hair.
This accent, I don't know. I don't know if I love it or hate it, but I think I want more of it, regardless.
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of friends back in Tennessee. They love the Vols.
Yeah.
And so,
I'm interested in Joey Aguilar.
And let me tell you this. That's something to be interested in. And I'll be right about this later this week. The SEC has some honor to defend.
Yeah.
They. Did you ever watch remember the Sopranos?
Of course.
And people started like maybe pushing back on him a little bit in his own organization. So one day he decides he's got to reestablish dominance, and he finds the biggest guy out there and beats him up.
Yep.
It's time for the SEC to start, figuratively, reestablishing their dominance.
I agree with that 100%. We have at least one more game, right, Nick?
Yeah, I got one for you. UTSA at number 19, Texas A&M. I care.
We didn't do LSU Clemson?
We're hitting a break. Got to get to Marty Smith, so
I care
we'll cut
about
it right
LSU
there.
Clemson. Yeah.
You think Marty will play the game?
No, not with your voice. Absolutely not.
Hey, speaking of, how's the voice?
You sound normal again.
All right,
except when you became this Bostonian Karen.
Okay.
Thank you,
In
Obi.
my chair.
I appreciate you. All right, we're going to hit a break. When we come back, Marty Smith making his debut on TexAgs Live. Well, he's been on the show, but not like this. Thanks to our friends at Academy Sports and Outdoors. We'll talk to Marty about all things happening in college football, and then Billy Liucci for 2 hours here on the program. If you want to be a part of the conversation, call us up. Text us 979-693-1150. You are listening to TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers in the Rollo Insurance Studio. All right, we're back here on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. Let's go to the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. We're joined by Marty Smith, and this is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Some things go better together, burgers and fries, Friday nights and football, now at Academy Sports and Outdoors, plus Whataburger for a limited time. They're going to have exclusive Academy and Whataburger tailgate gear coming in hot. Score game day gear, fan styles, and more. Dig in now at Academy where the fun can't lose. Marty, good morning, buddy. How you been?
I should have worn my Academy Whataburger collaboration gear, or collab, as the kids say. I got this box from them that showed up at my door the other day, and my daughter, who's 13, Vivian, immediately opened the box and decided that she wanted the throw blanket that's in there. And I told her, settle down, grasshopper. I have some things I need to do with that stuff first. But yeah, brother, it's great to join you guys. I'm so impressed with what you guys have built there. And obviously a very passionate fan base and viewer, listener base. So it's an honor to spend time with you.
Well, we always love talking to you, Marty. Last time I saw you was at the hotel gym. We were chatting about stuff happening at SEC Media Days. Let's kind of just look at the week one. How excited are you for actual games in a business that, like, storylines get a little stale, but we find new ways to recycle them? Now we'll have something new to talk about.
Well, week 0 definitely set the table for us, brother. What an incredible game. Iowa State and Kansas State, all the way down to the last series there, 1st and goal, and a key 4th down conversion. Just so fun to sit on the couch after Marty and McGee and watch a little college football. And now it's on. I mean, week 1 is incredible. And as great as week ones have, we've become accustomed to this because there's so many interconference games and great matchups every year. But this year just feels like there's a different energy about it, even escalated from what we've experienced in the past. Of course, Texas at Ohio State, everybody's discussing that. Everybody's discussing LSU at Clemson and Alabama at Florida State. I have Syracuse and Tennessee in Atlanta. That's where SEC Nation and Marty and McGee will be Saturday down at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. And I think that game actually will be very interesting because you have new quarterbacks from the transfer portal on both teams. Angeli was really good when Riley Leonard got hurt last year against Penn State in the playoff, and ultimately that really endeared him to Fran Brown, the head coach at Syracuse. And so I expect big things from him. You look at what Kyle McCord did in that offense last year. I think that they have an opportunity to be good, even though a lot of bettors don't think that. Tennessee certainly in a transitional moment after Coach Heupel had to let Nico Iamaleava go to UCLA, and they swapped him for Joey Aguilar, who put up 7,500 yards of offense the last couple of years for Coach Clark at Appalachian State. So I'm really looking forward to that game. It's not really a heater on most people's charts, but both of these teams need answers early, and they both are playing quality opponents early. So, man, I can't wait for that game in Clemson. I just think it's so important for both teams. A lot of people have Clemson as their national championship pick. I think they're going to be really good. Cade Klubnik in his 17th year of college football, and his progression is the best in the country for me at that position. Now, granted, he's been there forever, so that stands to reason, and he's played some pretty good opponents. But I really like that kid. He's figured out who he is. He's not playing for anybody else anymore or outside of that facility. He's playing for his guys in that facility and himself. And Coach Sweeney has done a great job with his staff of developing that young man. And on the other side, Garrett Nussmeier, a lot of people think will be the number 1 pick in the draft next year if he just holds serve. Obviously very physically gifted, but there's a lot of weight on those kids in Baton Rouge. And that weight starts with Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly's made it very clear for the first time in his career as a leader, he has said 1-0 is the only thing that matters. And that's a different energy for him. It's been hard for him to win season openers. It's not something that he's done very often. So this is an imperative game for them. And I think no matter who wins, David, I think both of these teams still have a national championship opportunity, even if they lose this game.
Yeah, Marty, I think from the Clemson point of view, you got a couple of wins against SEC teams because they got obviously South Carolina on their schedule. They take care of the ACC like most people think they will. They'll be a top 2 or 3 seed, right? And then
for sure.
And then LSU's got a lot more important games on their schedule that they can make up ground, but they can also lose ground quite quickly.
They have so much talent, and it's year 4 for Coach Kelly. It's time that he wins, and that was posed very directly to him by me when Ryan McGee and I had the opportunity to sit down with him at SEC Media Days. What has to happen for you to define success? And it's win. It's contend for a national championship. It's make the college football playoff. And obviously history precedes him with the 3 previous head coaches doing so well and all of them winning national championships. But it's such an interesting marriage. And I don't understand myself. I really like Brian Kelly. I like him as a person. I think he's a damn great football coach. But for whatever reason, nationally, he's really polarizing. And so a lot comes with that. And I think that it's important for him that they contend, that they make the playoff. I think they will make the playoff. They'll be my national championship pick. And I'll say it right now on what the hell is today, the 25th of August. SEC's loaded. It's the hardest conference, and I don't care what anybody else thinks. I guess most of your viewership probably agrees with me. But put up or shut up time for Coach, and he has said that to me. So that's not necessarily my opinion. I think it's a general opinion.
Marty, the last 15, 20 years, the SEC has obviously been the conference, but I feel like this is the first time where I think the separation from Tier 1 to Tier 2, and then the separation from Tier 2 to Tier 3 is microscopic.
It's this. Yeah, completely agree with you, brother. The floor, I was speaking, they're going to remain nameless. I was speaking with a very prominent Southeastern Conference athletics director at the coaches' meetings in Destin, having a glass of wine with this person. And that person has been adamant that the most important thing for the conference as a whole was for the floor to raise the floor. And indisputably that has happened. When you have people talking very positively about Vanderbilt, people thinking that Mississippi State is going to be better, people saying that some schools that in the past have traditionally not vied for consistent excellence or consistent winning records are in that conversation now. And forget the top of the league. I mean, when you're talking about Texas, Georgia, Alabama, LSU, etc., holy bleep, man. I mean, when you have 4 or 5 national championship caliber teams, it's ridiculous. And maybe the Big Ten has that too, David. You know, Penn State is on a lot of lists. I think Oregon's going to be really good. We'll see what Julian's saying is. We know he has a lot of God-given gifts, and they have a lot of talent coming back. But at the same time, they sent 14 players to the NFL draft. That tied a school record. You look at Texas, they sent a school record 12 to the NFL draft. Arch Manning comes in, the biggest storyline in college football. So, my God, you asked me if I was excited. Yeah, I'm excited. We're going to have so much to talk about, and it's so positive. I can't wait to kick it, man.
That game you were speaking about there, Ohio State, Texas, I don't know if this is because I fear what might happen, but I look at Arch's experience, which is limited, but I think that's going to be a factor versus Julian Sayin, who's got no experience.
Well, I think that the experience side may not be so much lining up between the lines in games. You know, he started a couple games last year. I think it was Mississippi State and ULM. Is that right?
Correct.
Yeah. And played well when Quinn Ewers was hurt. But the bigger factor to me is it's year 3 for him in Steve Sarkisian's system. And Steve Sarkisian is the most brilliant mind in football. Maybe Ben Johnson with the Chicago Bears too. But to me, Steve Sarkisian is the most brilliant mind in football at getting his guys the football in space so they can use those gifts. I believe that. And I think that I don't think it's going to be the exact same offense we saw with Quinn, because Arch is so much more dynamic with his feet while also being able to stretch the field. So I think that they have a lot of potential, and he doesn't have to go win the Heisman on Saturday evening. Just get your guys to football, man. And like I don't know if you've been around him. I don't know if you had the opportunity to chat with him at media days. McGee and I did not. They declined all sit-down interviews, and he only did group interviews. And so I had the opportunity to sit down with him back in the wintertime. It was a Red Bull thing because he has a PSA with Red Bull, an NIL deal with Red Bull. And I was so impressed with his poise, with his complete lack of ego, with the humility with which he carries himself. And if you look at, obviously there's the bloodline part of this. He has lived it, man. And so I have, as high as everybody expectations are for him, I'm right there too. I just think that his potential is incredible. And I don't want to overstate, but I have very high expectations for what he's capable of doing.
Marty, Will Lee was asked about, expectations, and he was upset with the 8-4 moniker that A&M receives. And there's a reason they get that, right? That's what they've traditionally done here in the SEC for the most part. That being said, I want my player to have that kind of attitude, like, don't put the past history on us. We're going to be a different team. What does A&M have to do to break that 8-4 rut?
Go change it.
Yeah.
Go change it. I think that the pieces are there. I think that Mike is such a great culture fit, because at Texas A&M there's a specific culture, and for whatever reason I thought Jimbo would fit it. It didn't work. I think that Coach Elko had lived it in the past and came in last year and was adamant that it was going to be instilled the way that he wanted it instilled, with toughness and acumen and brotherhood first, and we're going to build out from there. Now, I know you're going to ask me about Marcel Reed. I think that kid is – I have high expectations for him too. Second year in the system with an offensive coordinator that appreciates a quarterback with that skill set and looks at it as a tremendous asset. I think that Reed is going to show us that he has developed as a passer. I know it's important to stretch the field. What's important is first downs. And that young man is so capable of being so dynamic in the RPO game and using his skill set that if he can just hit a couple and keep them honest, they're going to be a big problem, man, because they brought in some really talented guys on the perimeter. At the wide receiver position. They have all those running backs back. So I have high expectations for him now. I knew you were going to ask me this, so I pulled out the schedule. So let's break out this schedule and have a debate.
Okay.
UTSA, win. Utah State, win. Notre Dame, loss for me. Okay. I'll let you debate me if you disagree. Auburn, win. Mississippi State, win. Florida, hold on Florida. Arkansas, win. LSU, loss. Mizzou, South Carolina, back-to-back. One on the road, one at home. Samford, win. Texas, loss. That's where my head is right now. So those three games, to me, Florida, Missouri, South Carolina. Let's discuss those games. Florida, barring injury, should be really good.
Yeah.
All right? That is the 6th game of the season. Going to be some nicks, some injuries for these guys. Everybody's hurt all the time. It's just how hurt, right? So that game's going to be so damn physical at the point of attack, because both of these teams thrive on that. So where do you live on Texas A&M, Florida?
I would lean Texas A&M
That
today.
is at Kyle Field.
I lean at Texas A&M because they had no problem with Florida last year. I know that Lagway was not the same quarterback he became, but that was the first time A&M had won on the road in 3 years. So
in a hard place to win.
In a hard place to win, and you're at Kyle Field, and I think they fixed their deficiencies. Today, I would take A&M.
Okay, I'll take that. So we'll put W in there on that game. Mizzou on the road.
I'm taking A&M all day because I just have too many questions about what they're replacing. I think they're going to be good with that schedule especially, but A&M outclassed them last year with Theo Weiss, right, and Luther Burden. So I think A&M's got that
And Brady Cook.
Yep.
Okay, so you're taking win there. South Carolina at home.
I'm going to take A&M again. Now,
okay, all right.
I'm going to tell you my why.
Then,
I think their defense takes a step back.
I want to hear your why.
Yeah, I think South Carolina's defense takes a step back, and A&M's defense takes a step up. So that's my why.
I don't know about that step back part. I agree with you 1,000% that A&M will take a step. I think it's a pretty substantial step because I really like Reed. I went and, I was listening to some of my colleagues talk about him and the pushing the ball down the field and making sure you're vertical and all those things. So I'm like, all right, let me just look at this dude. So I went and looked at some tape, and I'm sitting there watching him, and I'm like, they can't touch this guy. Like, they can't, nobody's even touching this guy. So as long as schematically, and again, I think Coach Klein, I just think that he was this guy. Now, maybe not as dynamic athletically, but he understands the value of this type of player and that it's a very special player. Now, I'm not going to get into the hierarchy or the rankings of the SEC quarterbacks. There are so many great ones. But he's going to be in the narrative, win or lose, because he's the most important player in the program. And from what I've read, now, you're inside the walls there all the time. I'm not. I'm not talking to Mike Elko or Coach Klein every day. But from what I'm reading, I know it sounds trite. Leadership and confidence are the two most important things a quarterback can have. Especially confidence. If your quarterback is confident, thereby he can become a great leader because leadership is influence. Are you looking at those guys in the huddle and going, all right, it's 3rd and 3 for the rest of life. Damn it, let's get this. And they follow you. The train's coming, and you're standing on the tracks with this guy. And from what I'm reading, that's what I'm reading. And so if that is in fact the case, where he has taken this confident step, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's still just 8 wins, I think. UTSA, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's still 8 and 4.
They've got to win one of those 3 major road games that everybody.
So where are you on Notre Dame? Now, obviously, they have a new quarterback that's a massive question mark who's never played any college football. But, I mean, big guy, humongous arm, and one of the greatest programs in college football with a really nice security blank Heisman Trophy candidate behind him and a good offensive line in front of him. And so where do you live on Notre Dame?
Right now, that's a loss, but I'll check in on week 3. And the reason it's a loss, Marty, is that A&M hasn't won a ranked game on the road or against a ranked team on the road since 2014. They got to prove they can do that. But I think that of the big 3 games is the most winnable on the road.
The last time, I didn't know this stat until this morning. You live this stat every day, bro, so don't judge me, A&M fans. The last 10-win season was Johnny football?
Yeah, 2020 to me was basically a 10-win season.
Right, but 9-1, right?
Yeah, so
that year.
Yeah, so they went. But,
all right,
yeah.
if they're all right, if A&M makes the playoff that year, is Jimbo still the head coach?
No, I still think it went too south the next few years. Now,
yeah, I mean, what were they? They were 5-7, 6 and.
They went 5-7, 7-5.
Okay. Yeah.
But if in 21, if they win that LSU game at the end of the year and puts them 9-3, I think that might have bought him more time.
Yep.
Marty, tell us about your podcast, man. I know you've got some exciting things coming up.
Oh, thanks. I didn't know we were doing this. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's, I tell you, man, growing a podcast is an interesting challenge because the market is hard. But I have a podcast called Never Settle with Jimmy Johnson, the 7-time NASCAR Cup Series champion. And it's really a life podcast. Of course, we're talking about sports. We're talking about NASCAR. We're having interviews with such interesting people. Greg Olson is our guest tonight for Wednesday's show. Greg, of course, I want to ask him about Tom Brady. I want to ask him about all of his extensive work in youth sports and the pieces of it that he believes is broken. I want to ask him about the University of Miami and where he believes they are right now and all of that. And so look forward to that conversation. Now, we had Andy Roddick, who won, of course, 32 ATP Tour victories, had a fantastic Hall of Fame career as a professional tennis player and is married to a supermodel. And what I learned from Andy was, because I asked him, I did this piece one time, David, called Athletes Die Twice for ESPN. And the premise of that piece was that you as an athlete, and I don't care if this is your last high school football game is your last game, or you're Peyton Manning or Tom Brady and leave on your own terms with a bunch of Super Bowls. All of a sudden, the next morning you wake up and everything that was your identity is no more. And so there's a void that you have to learn how to fill. And for a lot of guys, depression comes with that. Tremendous insecurity and anxiety comes with that. So what's the challenge of redefining yourself, your soul? And I loved hearing from Andy on that because he goes, "No, that didn't happen to me, man. That didn't happen to me at all. That was not my experience." He goes, "I agree with you. You're not wrong for most." But he had this saying that was regret of outcome versus regret of decisions. So, yeah, he never won Wimbledon, so there is some regret of outcome. But he has no regret of decision because proximity is so important to him to be with his wife and children. And so I learned a lot there. I want to learn in this season of my life. I got a lot of gray hair, bro. You still a young buck. You got only person in the SEC with better hair than me is that guy right there.
Marty, great stuff, man. Thank you so much for kicking off the season with us, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thank you. Appreciate y'all.
Thank you very much. Marty Smith, ESPN here, brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. We'll hit a break. Billy Liucci should be in studio coming up next. Right now, we're talking about the Association of Former Students. If your organization or business is looking for an opportunity to engage with Aggies, then you need to reach out to the Association of Former Students. They bring Aggies of all ages together during their marquee events held throughout the year. We're talking about Aggie Ring Day, All Aggie Hullabaloo, The Gathering. They all welcome tens of thousands of guests, and there are many sponsorship and vendor opportunities available to get your brand in front of those attendees. And they offer a wide variety of both digital and in-person options to promote your brand. This includes title sponsorship, naming, on-site presence, activation, recognition, and social media posts, and much, much more. There's also advertising opportunities in both the Texas Aggie magazine and the Aggie News newsletter, which are seen by over 230,000 people. So if your business is ready to engage with Aggies, check out a partner that's been with the organization for over 140 years. For more information on options available through the association, please email sponsorships@aggienetwork.com. It is the Association of Former Students. All right, friends, David Nuño here. While I don't drink a lot of vodka or tequila, my wife does, and that's okay. I can talk all about it here because it's time for Frio Vodka and Rio Agave Tequila, and they're ready to raise their game with the right team, and it starts with Texas brands at Total Wine and More. And before we cheer our Texas Aggies on to victory, we need to stock up on tailgating with the right partners when it comes to adult beverages. And that's why we love Frio Vodka and Rio Agave Tequila. And they're proud to be in their second year as sponsors of TexAgs. And now through Labor Day, this is really important. All profits will be doubled and donated to the Kerr County Flood Relief Fund. It's Texans helping Texas. That's right, the local brand and diehard Aggie fans are continuing support for our state. We're talking about Frio Vodka, not some orange and black labeled brand. Frio, it's 6 times distilled, handmade crisp, clean vodka. This is the only vodka that should be poured in Aggieland. And Rio Agave tequila is ideal for Aggies, whether it's the award-winning additive-free Blanco tequila or the tasty ranch waters using 100% blue agave. You can taste the passion and dedication in every sip. These premium products are about supporting Aggieland and the Texas A&M community. All right, friends, this season, keep it in the family and pour with a purpose. Pour Frio Vodka and Rio Agave Tequila. I'm not trying to overrate a segment, but that was like really good Marty Smith segment, right? Like, Nick, you agree? Like, that was, you don't have to talk, but I like it.
Dude, he referenced NASCAR, so I'm so in.
It was great. And that's going to be a weekly series during the football season, so appreciate Marty joining us for that. By the way, you mentioned NASCAR. I watched the F1 movie, not NASCAR. That movie was really good. I was expecting it to be... Huh?
Said mistake.
People, it's kind of like this weird rivalry because technically it is the same thing, but they're like super protective of like, no, NASCAR's better than F1 or
Sure,
like,
let's
no,
let the
F1's better
basketball
than...
guy tell everyone about motorsports.
I'm just saying the movie was good. I didn't think it was going to ruffle feathers.
No, but that's the thing. It's kind of like how on Twitter people will be like, you can tweet, I like pancakes, and someone will be like, oh, so you hate waffles. That's what just happened.
Both are delicious in the morning.
Exactly. But,
freshly made.
But NASCAR fans, God bless Nick Savage and his fandom, when they hear people liking F1, they're like, no, our sport's better.
But F1 has got a more cool vibe at the moment, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because of the Netflix series and those, like, I feel like they're...
that's factual.
And their headliners are just have a little bit more cool factor right now.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, aura. There you go.
There you go.
So, have you watched the F1 movie?
No, and I'm not going to.
Why?
I will not support it.
Just
will not give him my
He's
money.
living up to the stereotype.
It's like, I won't watch the Italian League Soccer Serie A because I'm an English Premier League guy. Is that what you're doing on it right now?
I'll act like I know what you're talking about.
MLS? Do you know what that is?
I'm just an Aggie soccer fan, man.
Okay. I know you go to the games. Luke, you had a little update. By the way, Billy is here. He'll join us here in a second. You had a update on Zach Calzada.
We didn't get to it in around the SEC, but many expected him to win the job over at Kentucky, and it's now official as game week begins. Zach Calzada has been named the starting quarterback at the University of Kentucky. And here's a fun fact to make you all feel old.
Cuban community. That's a great fact.
Yeah,
that means he's smart.
Yeah, he is. In 2019, he is a leader of men. He will be a leader of a group of men. Let's just hope they can win 4 games this year. Zach Calzada was a freshman at Texas A&M in 2019, and Brock Purdy was a sophomore at Iowa State.
Purdy's been in the league how long?
Now in 2025, Zach Calzada is still in college, and Brock Purdy is going into his 4th NFL season and the 3rd as the starting quarterback for the 49ers. How unbelievable is that?
That's pretty freaking unbelievable. Hey, read us a text and then we'll hit a break.
Yeah, so I've got a text from Ryan in LaPorte. He says,
"Hi, Ryan.
The best ability is availability." People say that a lot, but he goes in depth a little bit more. If this team stays healthy, 11-1 is the ceiling with Marcel leading the charge. And he says this is without a doubt the most promising returning quarterback we've had since Johnny Football. Would you agree with that?
That Marcel's the most promising quarterback we've had since Johnny
returning
Football.
Quarterback. So technically,
I think Connor Wegman coming into last season was the most
But was he returning because he only played 5 games the year before that?
I mean, if we want to put a qualifier like that, no. But he was the returning quarterback who got hurt. And how about this? Probably since Johnny Football, quarterback who finished the season, starting the next season.
That's a good qualifier,
right? Yes. That just shows you how many people have been hurt. I mean, even Jalen Henderson didn't get to finish the season.
Right.
You know? Right. That's what he got hurt. Was it the first play?
First play of the game. I remember it vividly. I was there in Houston for it and so excited to watch Jalen Henderson. And sure enough, first play of the game, injured.
All right. When we come back, Billy Liucci will be in studio. We'll talk to Billy about stuff. That's what we'll do. Daily Company, family-owned and licensed company that offers HVAC, electrical, plumbing, and generator services, and that is available to you 24/7, 365. When it comes to their HVAC repairs, they're going to fix your thermostats, your refrigerant leaks, your furnace failures, and your seasonal tune-ups. They also will take care of generators. If you have a generator, they'll install it for you, they'll prepare it, they'll get it all ready for you anytime there's a power outage. Electrical, they'll take care of that wiring, the outlet repairs, the upgrades for safety and efficiency. And on the plumbing side, they take care of leak repairs, clogged drains, water heater installation, and maintenance to keep those pipes in top shape. They take care of all of Bryan College Station, Houston, and Austin. They have upfront prices with no surprises. What you need to do is contact the Daily Company, 979-260-2020. That is 979-260-2020. Or visit them online at godaily.com to experience the daily difference. 9:38 here on a Monday morning. It's TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Let's go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center, get a quick text as Billy gets mic'd up. Mr. Evangelist?
Yeah, I've got a text from Dallas. What do you think is more likely, and maybe we can get some crowd input on this, the offense hangs a 40-piece on UTSA or the defense holds the Roadrunners to under 14 points?
That one.
Under 14 points.
I think the offense.
Over 40?
I agree with that.
Yeah, well, they just lost a lot more. They lose a lot on defense. I think they have a good quarterback. I think they have a good offensive system. I think the Aggie defense is what you're looking to make a significant. I mean, you want both sides to make a significant step forward, but defense is kind of, I would call it like not an overhaul because you have a lot of the same players, but just I think they have a long way to go. I think there's going to be some weaknesses from last season that you see a season opening opponent with a whole offseason try to attack, which they'll probably be, hopefully, and should be not as weak points as the season before. Certain players they want to attack, maybe they think aren't as good as they are after an offseason of improvement. But it's still going to be, when you have that much time to study it, those are still going to be areas that they're going to test out to see if they can expose that are less than your strengths. And I think you'll see, UTSA will move the ball a little bit in this one. And maybe keep some drives alive where you go, man, you just really need to get off the field there. Offense was starting to get momentum, get the ball back to them. I just think because of how much they lost defensively, I think A&M moves the ball a lot. I think the defense plays well, but I just think it's going to be a little bit more of a challenge. I think they'll be going up against a better unit with a really good quarterback.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, this is Billy Liucci, executive editor, co-owner of TexAgs. Billy, so we're going to start.
You brought me into the stink room today, I see.
The stink room.
This room stinks like a dead mouse.
I haven't noticed it today.
Nick made a comment last week. There might be something.
No, it's 100%. If anyone's ever lived in Texas and if anyone's ever lived in like a new development, you have things like scorpions and little field mice. And if you get one of them, actually, the house we lived in right here, Seth, Shane, and Dan and I, 509 Old Jersey, which is now torn down, they had not a mouse problem, but a rat problem.
Oh, got them out.
And I think they were the Kyle Field rats, not to be confused with the Bright rat. These things were this big. Like they were like New York City rats, like wood rats. So yeah, I know what a rodent in the wall smells like. This is it.
Well,
this is it. And there's a lot of wall space here, so I don't think we're finding it. You just have to let it go.
It'll just eventually.
Yeah, it gets a little less each day. Unless Luke's in here passing gas the whole show, which is possible.
No, it's definitely OB eating his hard-boiled eggs every morning. Imagine what he's doing.
He eats hard-boiled eggs in here?
Yes, right where
that
you're
might
sitting.
be exactly what it is, you guys.
I don't,
How did no one think of that?
I don't think I've seen
And who eats hard-boiled eggs? That's like, oh, we got a serious meeting going on over here. Whispering Nick. But like,
who eats it? I eat hard-boiled eggs.
Of course you do. You probably cook fish. You probably eat fish in the office too.
I have done that once or twice. And broccoli.
Billy.
That's as bad as. Well, go ahead.
Obi only eats the whites, so like the yolks are just sitting out
Just
for the
stinking it
entire
up.
go hours. So that's probably what it is.
I don't think he does that often.
Just stinking like you're at Yellowstone National Park with all the sulfur coming out of the ground. You know that happens?
Yeah.
You have no idea.
No, I do.
You probably don't even know that it sits on.
You probably don't know what I know.
Well, we're about to find out. What does Yellowstone sit atop of?
America.
Okay. So you don't know.
No.
You don't know.
You want to play the trivia game?
You've never seen the movie. No, we're not going to do 2 hours of it. We're doing This Is Today's Trivia, and you've lost.
No, I got a
Does anyone know? Please.
It's on top of a volcano.
Yeah.
That I knew. You showed me the video
Super
of the water.
volcano.
I didn't know what you were.
Do you know what it's called? You should be. If you watch the movie 2012, which they're too
Never
young.
have watched that movie. It was a bad year. It was a great year for football. Go ahead.
2012 was it's on top. It's a caldera.
You just came from there. That doesn't count.
He
I knew that.
went on that one tour.
Okay.
Everybody goes on, and now was reciting all.
I
the
didn't do a
facts from
tour.
it.
We didn't do a tour.
Was it like
We did have a tour guide on like you downloaded this app, and this guy, we called him Bob. I don't know what his name was, but he basically talked you through the whole drive. He was awesome. badass bob.
All right, Billy, what's ropa vieja?
Green rope.
No, it's a Cuban
Soup.
dish. It's called old clothes, but it's shredded meat. See?
Well,
You don't know everything either.
If it's Cuban food, it probably tastes like old clothes.
That is the most
It's not.
disgusting and vile thing you've
I
ever
don't
said.
like Cuban food. I've never other than
When have you been to a Cuban restaurant?
more than you'd think. I'll put it that way.
I don't think at all.
Cuban food, I do like. A Cuban sandwich.
You know that our
how
big-
can you screw up meat, cheese? It's a panini. It's a panini. It's like all it is.
They stole it from us.
It's mustard, lunch meat, and cheese.
So no.
And don't forget the pickle.
We're gonna call it.
You forgot about
pickle on
the
it.
pulled pork.
Yeah, it's not. Usually, it's not pulled though. When I've had it, it's like sliced pork.
Where have you gone?
Miami.
It's a good place to go. Can we talk football?
Yeah,
Good God.
the best.
9:44.
The best mojito. 9:44. My ass. We're gonna go now. You just earned yourself another 15 minutes.
You know what? I don't care.
You just earned yourself
Good.
15 minutes.
I'll miss the
overtime,
meeting
buddy.
upstairs. That's fine.
25 minutes. It's done.
Good. More trivia.
Let's go. Best mojito I've ever had was actually in Cabo.
Really?
Mojito.
Did you hear OB's Karen Boston voice this morning?
I did.
As I was gonna say, starting this Sunday, we're gonna be doing our Luchador podcast every Sunday, right?
Somehow, because we got trips. We got some weird trips this year. We got Notre Dame.
That's weird.
That's about it. Missouri's a weird. Arkansas. Those should be shorter ones. Notre Dame Sunday will be an interesting.
We can
fit.
Zoom it.
Yeah, no, we can definitely Zoom it. I prefer to do them in here.
Yeah. Anyway, we're going to be doing that. Let's just hit a break because we're not going to be able to.
Perfect.
I'm glad we got so much
Overtime.
accomplished this segment. When we come back, we're actually going to start doing our season preview.
Olin said you're lying. He does not do hard-boiled eggs.
No, he brings them, but I don't think
he
he
eats
them.
them.
In here.
I've watched it with my own eyes.
I haven't seen him eat it. I've seen them here, though.
We'll get him. Olin, get down here. We're gonna
Not
have
during the show. I think it's pre-show.
Olin, we're gonna have a trial down
pre-show,
here.
but he keeps the yolks for his dog, and then that's
So
like
his dog's
they're just
got-
lingering.
So Buck's got sulfur farts.
Yeah.
All right, let's go. We got football to start talking about. Now we're overtime.
Yeah.
Push back lunch. Push back
You know what?
workout.
I might have a meeting. I might have to go. I'm wearing a duck camp shirt right now. Duck camp, if you're chasing the birds at sunrise, casting the lines from the bow, or sweating it out during the scorcher at Kyle Field, Duck Camp is going to have you covered from head to toe, keep you cool, comfortable, and looking sharp no matter what the occasion is. Obviously, they have the polos. They have all the kinds of shirts. They've got hoodies, scout shorts, essential hoodie, lightweight fishing shirts. You name it. You can wear it to the gym. You can wear it to church. You can wear it to work. You can wear it in any environment. That's the beauty of Duck Camp. And they're going to keep you clean for the tailgate, and also you can sleep in this gear. You can wear it for post-game beers, you name it. So whether you're gearing up for the hunt or a fishing trip or just trying to survive September heat at Kyle Field, check out Duck Camp and get all your gear at duckcamp.com. Built for the outdoors, designed for everything else. As a reminder, the final segment of the program is brought to you by Double Dave's. That's at 10:50. But right now, caller number 12, we're going to hook you up with your choice of a dozen pepperoni rolls or a large one-topping pizza from Double Dave's. They've been serving Aggie Land since 1984 with your favorite pizza and world-famous pepperoni rolls. Reliable in-house delivery, bringing piping hot goodness straight to your door. Just click on doubledaves.com, and your favorites are on their way. Billy, you have something you wanted to bring up here?
Well, Olin came in here and just went scorched earth and then left on Luke. He's in complete denial of the egg thing, but I heard Luke talking about how he's a Michigan fan, and I forgot about that. If you had like 3 people walk in a door that you could just go, yeah, they're Michigan fans with no attire, that look like every Michigan fan I've ever met. It's Luke and Zane, and then you could throw in, I think, like Jason Biggs from American Pie.
Yeah, he does.
If the 3 of them walked in there and you said, who do they root for? I'd just go Michigan.
What do they all have?
That's not even an insult. Jason Biggs is a movie star, but
same community.
We've cornered the market on 5'10" white guys is how you would put it.
Like dark hair, little puffy hair.
Did you Google his height?
I looked him up and it said he's 5'9", but this was like a funny thing Billy said, or maybe Richard said at one time about how TexAgs is trying to corner the market on white guys with dark hair.
I guess that was a Zane thing. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, that's Michigan fans. Like there's 100,000 of them going to be in Ann Arbor this weekend at the stadium together.
James Sherrill on the YouTube page, I don't know if there's any relation, says, what's the guess on the biggest improvement and the biggest step back from last year?
I think the biggest improvement, I've said it a lot. I kind of go back and forth between the pass catchers and the secondary. Mm-hmm. But I'm gonna say the receiving corps. I just think I'm trying to think of which group I thought held the team back more last year. And while I think the secondary, you think of games like early on in Auburn and that USC game when, again, remember in that one you were also without Will Lee and multiple other guys on your defense, but that one really stood out in the secondary. But I just feel like the inability of those receivers last year to get open, make plays, make things easier on Marcel. And I'm not saying Marcel didn't miss open receivers, but he did on some throws, and probably more specifically sometimes when down the field guys would come open and he maybe didn't hang in there long enough. Just the sign of a first-year starter at quarterback. But I just think that the lack of a threat that those receivers and the passing game as a result posed allowed teams to really sit on the run game as well. So you look at games like Texas, early on in Auburn, down the stretch in South Carolina once Le'Veon went out. Like, it just made for some tough starts to games, and in a couple instances, a tough 4 quarters. So I think that, to me, is going to be the most improved area, the guys catching the football and their ability to get open and go get it. And then and not just one guy, but like the entire unit. The step back.
Hopefully nobody.
Hopefully nothing, but I mean, it's going to be difficult to replace that defensive line. I think that defensive line is going to be better than people expect.
Can they stop the run?
That's been my question. So people will jump. I've already noticed around their jump. No one was talking about it. Now they all are. Because this is my concern. Mm-hmm. That's my biggest. That doesn't mean that there can't be other areas where they struggle or it takes a few games to get it going. But my season-long concern is, can the defensive line hold up in there versus the run? It's not just the D-line. It's just run defense. And I'm torn on saying that because all Mike Elko has historically done is put defenses on the field that can stop the run. I mean, that is first and foremost what he does and can do. So he'll scheme it, but like the safeties are going to have to tackle better. And they're the same guys. They're going to have to take better angles and tackle better. And they're really encouraged by guys like Bryce Anderson's a guy I haven't mentioned a lot. In the last 2 weeks, I've had 3 separate people that I trust that are out there daily, different levels, say Bryce has had a really good camp. He looks a lot better than he has previously. But until the ball's snapped in games, and you're asking those guys to take angles and tackle in space, so it's them, and then I think you're a little undersized across the front. But I'm going to tell you, two guys that I don't think you can talk about enough right now. I think Cassius Howell has all SEC potential up front, and then I think that I don't think people. Well, Albert Regis is the quiet. He just quiet, goes about his business. We don't really talk about him. Played a ton of football. He's a grown-ass man in there in a sport where sometimes you find yourself going against people that are not far out of high school. And then Tyler Onyedim, I think is how they say it. Onyedim, I wrote about him this week, talked about him this week with you. I think that dude is moving up really fast on my list of like impact newcomers. He's had that kind of fall camp, and they needed him to. We wrote about that before camp. They have to have it. So I think D-line, though, is the position that I got to see it first. And that would be if there's a fall off anywhere, it would be there, but it doesn't have to be.
I got to see it. Next on TexAgs Live. And we're back. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Waller Insurance Studio. Billy Liucci in studio. Billy, major programming.
In case you were wondering, I was in Yellowstone. Big Yellowstone. Big outdoors guy. Surged right past you.
I don't understand the commentary. It surged right past me. What do you mean? Oh, you mean
as far as an outdoorsman, saw a bear, whatever.
Like, and you spotted him.
Might have been a grizzly. There have been some aspersions cast on whether or not it was a grizzly.
I've noticed.
And I'll admit there's some validity to some of the claims. We're at an in-between mode on this bear. It's big. It was big as huge bear. A lot of brown on him. Apparently, some black bears can get some brown coloring. Very brown bear. Very brown.
You seem very threatened by my rise in the outdoors community. Like the rankings, I've moved up, and it bothers you.
It doesn't at all.
Yeah, I think it does. You bring it up a lot.
Because I don't claim to be a hunter or fisher. That's the world you're trying to infiltrate.
I'm Mr. Country Music.
I'm just...
Would you like to give the people a programming update, major announcement when it comes to content on TexAgs.com? Major announcement.
It was something that we've been planning for a while, something we've been talking about for a while, and we decided we'd do it to start football season. There were three ideas I had planned. One was the moving goalpost, which is for more broad audience. The other was which by the way, a great episode this week, preseason
with Peter Burns.
Picks. Peter Burns is the guest. We did some preseason picks and a little interesting piece of information in there that I'll probably drop today on the site because I don't want it coming out first on the pod, but I did say it. And then I thought about it. I was like, we're going to delete that. And I said, no, we'll just leave it because it'll push me to mention it before anybody else steals it because I've been sitting on it for a little bit. So nothing, it's interesting. So anyway, tease. Let's call it tease. Remind me to follow up on it.
Can I know what this is?
No, you're not going to.
I have to subscribe?
You will know when everyone else knows because Leakin' Luke Evangelist is over there and I trust him with this information about as much as I would trust.
Okay, but if I threw Luke out, would you tell me? Do you trust me that much?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I do trust you more than probably anyone in here.
Okay.
You got to watch out. You got Leakin' Luke Evangelist, you got Old Folks Home Olin. Olin will go speak to like the old folks home here in town and tell them tell them everything. Leakin' Luke will go to like the nearest group chat and go blabbing that he thinks he won't get caught and then he will. So I trust.
Yeah. I keep secrets.
You do.
Yeah,
you really
I
do. I'll give you credit.
Thank you. But 12 minutes ago, we mentioned that programming update we haven't gotten to.
Yeah, so that's dragging it out, another tease. So an old buddy of mine and he was interested in doing this, and we talked about it, and just busy in his new endeavor. So long story short, the Luchenbach Hour, Gabe and I, there's your logo right there. I thought
That's a quality logo.
Yeah, that's Stu Wade's work. But
really good.
Basically, the thought process is, Gabe misses it and just doesn't have time to do anything more than an hour, a week during the season. And we'll figure out if it'll just be an in season or maybe, we're deciding off season. Is it going to be once a month? Is it every 2 weeks? Whatever we decide to do with it. But it's going to be here in studio. Occasionally, we're looking to go to Angry Elephant, which is going to be a sponsor, and we're looking to go there. Bach Real Estate Group is going to be Bach Realty is going to be capital REAL. Going to be another sponsor, and so we're talking about we'll do a couple of shows there, kind of like TexAgs Live does, and just the concept of it was just to kind of we had the lunch show for so many years there at the Tap, and it kind of started of a thought like let's do an off-campus live show, but it just doesn't really fit in terms of us setting it up every week and doing an off campus. So we said, well, let's do it here with an occasional, homage. How do you say?
Homage Reed Adams.
to the old days where we go live, where we do it live audience. But it's going to be here most weeks. This week's going to be later in the week, but during the season,
Wednesdays?
Every Wednesday, lunchtime, just a it's gonna live on the site, but a live show, and just kind of like the old school. You know, it was Belucci, but when Gabe was on, we called it the Luchin Bot, and just kind of me and him get together and talk football again. He's got a nice little, you know, Gabe. So we've had 4 breakfasts over it. Each time he comes with a little more of a format for us, and he's put a bunch of work into it. So it'll be kind of a consistent format, about an hour show every week. So
I will be tuning in.
Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be fun. I know people will like hearing Gabe's voice or whatever, and he's got a little time to do it, and he'll have some fun with it. So
awesome.
I'm looking forward to it. That one, and then the third thing was just we teased it with the Dan interview, but it's just going to be a series of those. Only when I can get the people I truly know, these long form, but I want them to be more and more consistent as we go. So especially once the off season hits, but even in season, I've got a couple of really good ones in the works.
We're also working on something. I won't give too much information until it's set, but
yeah,
we're working on something that I think will set up some game day stuff that I think people will like.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, Billy. Let's use today as your college football preview, if you will, over the next hour. And obviously, I want to start off with A&M, and then we'll kind of work our way through ascend or descend for teams that A&M's going to face, and then we can go
what?
Ascend or descend.
Oh, I thought you said ascender to send. I was
yeah, we can do that too.
Ascender to send.
Yeah.
Okay.
Last year, as Dalton would say, he's on the YouTube page. Second year leap. Let's talk about what that looks like for just A&M in general under Coach Elko, but certain people that, all right, this is their next foray with Aggie football, what it looks like for Marcel and others.
Yeah, man. I mean, there's so much of like year 2 to this thing. You know, like obviously year 2 in the system, year 2 into the culture. Elko said when he first got here, but it usually takes a full year of everything, full cycle before you've got your culture and the routine of it all truly set. When I go out to practice, and I've talked to people that are out there daily, and it is what stands out to me most. It all ties back into they get it now. Mm-hmm. They're just practicing. They're just learning. They're just playing. Whether it's the defense, I'm just telling you that defense flies around much more so than they did in the spring, infinitely more so than we saw last year. They don't look like they don't know what they're doing. They don't look like they're thinking too much. Even the newcomers, those defensive ends, a guy that got brought up to me last night by someone who would know, Julian Humphrey, is really starting to come on. Okay. You know, and here you go. Okay, this guy was here in the spring. He learned in the new defense, and now he's gone through 15 or 20, whatever it is, fall practices. And all of a sudden, okay, now you're really starting to see him. So how good do you feel about corner when you go Will Lee and improve Des Ricks, again, a guy that's night and day. He goes back to some of these guys in year 2. Think of all the kids that are in year 2 in this program. As far as playing.
Right.
You said Marcel Reed, Armage Reed Adams. I will forget somebody, but it's fine. Armage Reed Adams, Terry Bussey, Ashton Bethel Roman, Des Ricks, Will Lee, Scooby Williams. I'm looking on the D line. Is there a second year? Cassius Howell. I mean, Dalton Brooks, because he really didn't play the year prior. I mean, Marcus Ratcliffe. Just named half the team. So it's not just Elko and his staff with the guys that had been there under Jimbo and the changing of the culture and the way they practice and more importantly, the schemes. It's all those key players, too, that are going into their year 2 at Texas A&M, year 2 in the SEC, year 2 at the major college football level, year 2, like I said, in these systems. Colin Klein, year 2 with his quarterback. There's a lot of that where you go, and we always talk about in football that freshman to sophomore jump. When you have a coaching staff, everyone's going through that year 1 to year 2 jump. And in the day and age of the portal, you've got a ton of players where it might not be pronounced as a year 1 to year 2 jump that we were used to all growing up in college football, but it's still pretty significant. here's Cassius Howell, who had look how he closed last season. That carries over into the offseason. That carries over knowledge of the system. He's looking at the NFL, eyeing that. This is a really motivated and improved player. So it's across the board. I mean, you mentioned Des Ricks, first year of college football, now his second, in terms of playing. So that, to me, I don't know this about every other team in the SEC like we know it about A&M. So while we pick on the weaknesses and the players that we know need to improve, or it's not going to be good enough, things like that, we don't know that about the other schools either.
Right.
But what I also don't know is how many of them make this kind of jump that I'm seeing from A&M, because it's noticeable, guys. It is absolutely noticeable that this is a better football team, and I could go by position almost. I mean, really, by position, every position looks better to me. If all your running backs are healthy, every position, and I think they are, that wasn't like some kind of hint that they're not, by the way, but every position looks better. D-line is the question mark. And that's TBD. And it'll be hard for them to be better. But they might be better at getting to the quarterback,
right.
So they might be better in one phase and not, who knows? But what you don't know is how much better is Florida,
South Carolina,
how much better or worse is South Carolina, how much better or worse is Mizzou. I don't think they're going to be better, but do they take a big fall off, or is it just slight? You can do this about so many teams on this.
I think you can do it about LSU.
100%. Everybody in Baton Rouge will tell you this is the greatest defense ever assembled. That's what it seems like they're trying to say. And that Nussmeier is, he's the next, what? He's the next.
Burrow.
Trying to think of, Joe Burrow, the next Jaden Daniels. They're literally saying that.
They are saying
They're
that.
actually saying.
Year two.
I was just thinking of an NFL quarterback that went in, as a top 5 pick and hit the ground running and went straight to the Hall of Fame, like John Elway or somebody but no, they're actually saying in no uncertain terms he's the next Jaden Daniels and Joe Burrow. They believe that. I don't. I think he's really good. I think he's going to be mistake prone still, and I think this weekend will be a really interesting test against Clemson at Clemson. He could certainly change my mind in a weekend, and I could still be wrong. He still might, or I could still be right. He still might be, but if he goes up there and lights them up, I'll kind of go, okay, But LSU is certainly one of those on there. They lost 4 games last year. Everybody wants to prop them up. I'm propping Alabama up. Bama lost 4 games last year. And they're lucky they didn't lose more. They were very fortunate that Ryan Williams made the play of the year in college football to beat Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
And Georgia was driving down to score, and Carson Beck, I think Carson Beck threw a pick. Like a play before that, he had a guy open. If he just hits him, it's game over. They were fortunate they weren't a 4-loss regular season team. So nobody stands out and scares me. But what we don't know is, because you're so evenly matched with so many of these teams, how much better do they get? Because I know A&M's going to be better. I don't know how much better Florida, Auburn, South Carolina, LSU,
Let me throw in one more.
or
Notre
worse.
Dame.
Yeah, Notre Dame's another one.
I mean,
I'll be fascinated to see how things go down there in Miami for them this weekend. I don't think Miami's a juggernaut, but and it's almost like I want Notre Dame to win, because I don't want there to be some massive wake-up call
exactly
that they
right.
have 2 weeks, to get ready for A&M.
But I don't want them to look that good.
Yeah.
That, if they're going to look that good, let me see what they're doing.
Fine with them looking that good, but I don't know that they will. I think Miami is.
They got some players on defense.
Yeah, and I think Carson Beck, I mentioned that Alabama game. He made some freaking plays. That dude's not. I say he's not a bad quarterback. How many schools in the SEC would Carson Beck be starting at right now? Most of the teams in the conference.
Yeah.
Most of the schools in the SEC he'd be starting at. So it'll be. I think it should be a big advantage, Beck versus whoever Notre Dame's putting out there at quarterback. And if that's where we're starting off, I think that game being in Miami gets very interesting.
So since we're doing this, I had a segment planned for ascend or descend. Let's kind of go through these teams A&M faces and what your gut is on where they'll be this year.
There's going to be a lot of ascend. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yep.
Notre Dame.
I think descend. I don't think they're going to be a national title contending. Well, I think they might be contending. I don't think they're going to be a finalist. Like, even if they beat Miami and beat A&M, they might beat 2 8-4 teams. I hope not, but that could be what they've actually accomplished in September, and then not really be truly tested until the playoffs. But I just think they won't be as good a team this year because I loved Riley Leonard, and I think they lost some guys on defense that were pretty special.
Auburn.
Maybe the toughest one. I think they ascend because they were so bad, but they clearly still have question marks at QB. But I think they're a better team than they were last year. I'm glad that game's at Kyle and not at Jordan Hare this year because I think they might be one of those teams that's a lot tougher at home they might, just like they got A&M last year, they might get somebody or two at home this year.
Florida.
I think ascend. I think the hype on them is real. I like teams that finish the season on an upswing. Listen, what people aren't talking about enough, if Graham Mertz doesn't get hurt, they beat Tennessee. They beat Tennessee.
And that Texas game was different potentially.
Well, if Lagway doesn't get hurt, they have a real chance to beat Georgia. That is a dogfight in the fourth quarter, and they have to bring in some walk-on from the Ivy Leagues.
That's right.
He's like they tried Luke Evangelist out there at quarterback, and then Luke had to go start in Austin. They got run off the field and humiliated, and everybody gave up on him, and then they won. I think they might have won out. But I think Florida, I think there's legitimacy behind all the hype in terms of their improvement. Now, that schedule, I talk about how did A&M get better enough for their schedule? In the case of Florida, I think that schedule still catches them, and I just don't think. I think they improved to 8-4.
LSU,
I think they're better.
Ascend or descend from what they did last year? Slight ascend.
Yeah, I think so because they generally didn't have a running game last year, and I know they had those 2 NFL tackles, including top five draft pick there. So, I mean, I think they're going to figure out how. I don't think they go a whole nother season without being able to really run the ball against quality teams because I think Caden Durham's really too good for that. And I do think their defense makes a big jump. I think they're overhyping it. They tend to do that there. They always accuse A&M of it, but it happens to them every year as well. Every year they're a national title contender and they lose 3. What's the difference between A&M being an SEC title contender and losing 4? The Aggies are an SEC title contender and they disappoint and lose 4. LSU is a national title contender per everybody in Baton Rouge and a lot of times the national media, and they lose 3. Right. Who's a bigger disappointment there? It's about, to me, it may as well be the same. So they have to make a significant jump. So we've heard this before. I don't trust the portal stuff. They lost a great tight end. They lost a couple big-time receivers. I know they bring back big-time receivers, but they lost a couple. And it's a big jump they have to make on defense. They've anointed Blake Baker as the savior in Baton Rouge. I didn't see it a lot last year. I just didn't. I mean, I watched them play. I watched Sellers carve them up. I watched Milroe carve them up. I watched Reed carve them up. I watched.
I also think he gets the benefit of the doubt because people watched the Netflix show and he was kind of likable.
I think he's good. When you anoint someone the savior, because we've thought that with hires before here, and I've seen it, and I've seen it happen at other places too. A lot of times you think you figured it out and you haven't. And hell, I wouldn't be surprised if we went back and saw people anointing Bo Pelini the savior there when Ed O hired him, and we saw how that went. So, anywho,
Mizzou.
I think they'll be better to answer your question. I do.
Mizzou, and why is it descent?
I think they're a descent. What were they? 10. They were
10-2.
They were 9-2, 9-3.
Yes, right.
And then they won the bowl game. They went 10-3. Great season. I think Drink is. I think he's a legitimate coach. I think he's good, but I know they've got portal additions on defense. It's got them fired up. I do think they'll have a good defense.
But they have such an easy schedule.
They do. I mean, I think their record might be
the
same.
Yeah.
And if they beat A&M, it might be better. You know, they could get 10-2 if they beat the Aggies. I think it's a really important. I mean, look, you still look at that. There's Bama, there's OU on there.
Kansas, baby.
I mean, Kansas is going to be a very difficult game for them. I mean, that's a test right there. Kansas looked good. Lance Leipold is a top 5 coach for me, like in terms of coaches. You say, what coaches in college football do you like? Outside of like Elko, give me your 5. Leipold's on my list. But you look at their schedule, it's manageable, but let's not act like, I mean, read me some of those. Let's not act like they can't lose to South Carolina. Let's not act like they can't lose to Oklahoma.
At Auburn.
Auburn on the road, Alabama, A&M. So, I mean, it's not easy, but you don't see teams on there like you don't see Georgia, you don't see Texas, you don't see who? LSU. I think Missouri is not going to be as good. Like I thought they had a good quarterback situation with Cook until he got hurt. Luther Burden at receiver. I think they take a step back, but I still think that's a tough game for A&M going to Columbia. I wouldn't fear that one at all if they were coming to College Station.
Way late for a break, but just quickly, SC in Texas.
I think South Carolina.
Slight step back.
I think slight step back. I think Sellers takes a step forward, which is scary, so he can beat you on his own. But I think Rocket Sanders meant a ton to that, the way that thing went last year in terms of their physicality and what they could do to a defense to set things up for Sellers. And then defensively, I think they lost a ton. I know they've got Dylan Stewart over there as one of the top pass rushers in the country, but outside of that, they lost a whole hell of a lot on that side of the ball. And as for Texas, I think they're worse. I think, but here's the thing, Longhorns, because I know you guys love listening. You guys can't read. You can't listen. You can read. You can't listen to hear that when you read this stuff, it's actually transcribed. So it's not like written word for you guys to consume like you're reading an article. So smarten up before you open your mouths. But as I say this, I think last year's Texas team would beat this year's Texas team. I do. So I think they have stepped just a little bit back to the pack along with Georgia. Both those teams, I think, took another little step back to the pack. I think they're the 2 most talented teams in the league. I think they're the 2. I'm going to pick Bama to get to Atlanta over Georgia. I think Texas and Bama get there. But I think Texas is a little worse. But they're not playing last year's Texas team. They're playing this year's A&M. They're playing this year's Georgia, this year's Ohio State, not last year's Ohio State. So, see, I think Texas took a step back, but I don't think it's as big a step back as Ohio State
I agree
did.
with you.
And I think Texas is going to go into Columbus this weekend and win. So, with that said, I do think that is a more beatable football team this year than the one that took the field last season.
All right, we'll hit a break. We'll come back with more right now. Milliken Reserve, a farm-to-table community in College Station. They have homes, they have trails, they got farms, they got wide open spaces, and they have a mission to build a healthy community around nature. They have 2,600 acres of open space and farms and trails. You'll love that place, 30 miles of trails. They'll connect families with nature and with each other. They have an extensive network of trails throughout a wooded landscape that includes walking and an equestrian paths, creeks, ponds, and gathering areas. And they're committed to maintaining and restoring that beautiful natural habitat because they believe in conservation. And they have all the animals you can imagine, from the white-tailed deer, the rabbits, the songbirds, the turtles. Check it out. They want to provide a natural setting for people to connect and come together, where you can go hiking, biking, canoeing, you name it. They have all the great activities at Milliken Reserve. Check out the website, millikenreserve.com. That website again, millikenreserve.com. Check it out. And we're back. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. We go back to the Angry Elephant News and social censor. Luke Evangelist, the people are talking.
Yes, they are. They're texting in on that text line. And Peruna in College Station wants to know, for you two, Baylor or Auburn, who do you have in that Week 1 game?
I've got
Man, what's the spread, by the way?
I will get that info for you just momentarily.
I've got Auburn.
Baylor, 1.5.
Yeah, I got Auburn. I just think they're going to be better. I do. I think Jackson Arnold's going to run into some problems this year for sure. And when I think he gets frazzled, he'll be extremely frazzled. But I think they start off the season and get a victory. But I've heard a lot of great stuff about Baylor. I've heard that,
Yeah, they've got Sawyer Robertson. They were one of 5 teams to return 2 running backs with at least an 80 rushing grade on PFF, but one of them was injured. Their backup was injured. Kind of like a Moss Daniels, like a 1A, 1B. Their 1B got injured for the year.
Yeah, and listen, I think Baylor, they took such a big step forward last year offensively. By the way, under Jake Spavital, just for those that remember and those that thought buried the guy's career when he left here as a 28-year-old, he's had a nice rebound in Waco as a head coach at Texas State, and did a great job last year in the Big 12 with that offense and with that quarterback. So they're coming back. There is part of you that just goes, right? There's part of you that's going Auburn, SEC. They still have SEC athletes.
Yep.
They have players on defense. I think, despite what Olin says, DJ Durkin is a good SEC coordinator. I don't know that he's elite. He might be, but he's a good SEC coordinator at worst, with good SEC talent at worst. It's in Waco. That place is going to be going nuts. Auburn has not proven that they are mentally. They showed it against A&M last year in 4 overtimes at home. They didn't show it in a lot of their other football games. Man, and that's a team that lost to Vandy last year. I think at home, actually. I feel an upset brewing.
Yeah.
I mean, I know. Look, Cam Coleman's going to be really difficult to cover. They've got Singleton from Georgia Tech. And they've got more than that too. But their receiving core, I think most teams in college football would trade for it. But I like Baylor to spring that upset, and that would be.
But they're favored to win.
Yeah, well, I say upset. Yeah, but for us, I think most people in the SEC would consider that an upset. I would not.
I agree with that.
I think it's going to be a 31-28 kind of game, 28-24 kind of game, and I like Baylor to pull that off at home. That feels like an early season field storming type situation up there at, I keep wanting to say Floyd Casey, but at McLean Stadium.
Luke, let's get that Peruna one in and we'll hit a break.
Yeah, but you storm real quick. You would storm the field against an unranked opponent.
Are you Texas A&M or
fair.
Alabama or LSU or are you Baylor? And you're a Big 12 team if you beat and it'd have to be an exciting win. Yes, I could see it. Have you ever been to Baylor?
Never.
Have you? They stormed the field before the game.
Yeah, you're right.
And look, I don't. Whatever a team's fan base's standard is for storming, who am I to judge? Unless it's a program like Texas, LSU, somebody that like I judge, then I'll judge them. Like somebody that I know would. Here's the deal. If A&M stormed the field beating someone, I don't think Baylor fans are going to look down their nose and make fun. Texas fans absolutely would. They do. LSU fans absolutely would. They do. So I will judge them. But if Baylor wants to storm a field after beating an SEC team, so be it. Nuño doesn't think it's going to happen. I do. I think we both agree it's a game that could go either way.
Yeah.
Vegas agrees with that.
Oh, A&M, if I remember correctly, did not storm the field when they beat LSU last year.
No.
That's true.
You're right. You're right. And they did the 2 previous times. It was like a full-on field storming, over a top 5 LSU team that mattered. It was a full-on field storming in a game that you should have stormed the field. It was a historic football game. Hate to break it to you, LSU. No one had ever seen anything like it. And then there was a soft storming after they beat them 2 years ago when you beat a top 5 LSU team and you were 4-7. That was a soft storm. It was like a rain shower. Everybody just kind of trickled out onto the field, and nobody really knew, are we running? Are we jogging? I saw people walking onto it was a shower.
It was a nice walk at the park.
Yeah, it was like, oh, here's a rain shower. We don't have to go inside. It's not even lightning.
Like the valet jog.
And then this past year, they said, yeah, we beat that ass every time y'all come in here. So we don't care that you're ranked in the top 10. We just beat you 38-23 for the second time in a row here.
All right. Instead of that thought, we're going to hit a break.
Okay, sorry.
We can get to that on the other side. A moment for Caldwell Country Chevrolet, Highway 21 in Caldwell. Online, CaldwellCountryChevrolet.com. If you're a business owner and you're ready to take your operation to the next level, let Caldwell Country Chevrolet help you out with that, because they've expanded their commercial vehicles that they have there for the commercial needs to meet your everyday need. From service body trucks to heavy-duty flatbeds to medium-duty trucks, they have it all out there. And when you go, you're going to love the selection, the entire process, great customer service before, during, and after the process. They're also a designated business elite dealer, which means they do what it takes to keep your company moving forward. And, of course, every commercial vehicle comes with that legendary free oil change for life, because they believe in supporting local businesses, just like they support Aggie athletics. It's about a 15-minute drive, the edge of Bryan to the beginnings of Caldwell. A short conversation away, but you'll see the difference when you step on the lot and do business with the great people at Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Highway 21 in Caldwell. Online, CaldwellCountryChevrolet.com. The song playing right now is definitely a Nick song. Billy's picking theme songs.
What is it?
What? Inner Sandman. Yeah, yes, you're friends with Sandman on the YouTube chat. What would be my theme song?
I don't know, something dreary. Maybe like Alice in Chains or
for me?
Like yeah. I don't know. You know what you would think it is? You would think it's like
something from NWA.
No, you're not. That ain't you, brother.
That is me. I'm from the streets.
You're more like
streets of
A-Leaf.
Houston, Texas.
Have you Googled A-Leaf? Go see what happens when you do that.
You're more like this.
Hearts on Fire? Rocky?
Yeah.
Go back to Hearts on Fire. Frank Stallone's greatest hit.
This is what you think it is.
This is what it is.
It's Rocky IV. He's training.
Yeah, outside. I actually mentioned that reference this morning.
That's what you think it would be.
Yeah.
But
it would be Alice in Chains?
Yeah, just something dreary. Just like, oh, hey, this looks good today. Well, I don't know. I'd have to see it. I'd have to see it to believe it.
That's Olin. I don't say that. I probably have said it before. Super chat, UTSA from Ag Engineering 12. UTSA returns.
Super chat, isn't that when people pay you to chat?
Yeah,
they pay money. Do we have
they
a
do.
Super chat?
We have paying subscribers on TexAgs.com. Sorry, I felt defensive to you.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, but they pay to chat on here, and I want them to get.
Yeah, but there's these things people do now that they actually do these. Oh, this is a super chat, and like if you pay more, your question
That's
gets
the
asked.
next level when I keep adding new sponsors and stuff.
Hey, I can read this chat if you'd like.
Okay, go ahead, Luke. Read it, Luke.
Yeah, he says UTSA returns a lot on the offensive side of the ball. Is that the one you wanted to read?
I don't know. I lost interest.
No, we said that.
They do return. They're returning starting quarterback,
Running
their
back,
leading rusher,
receiver,
and their leading
receiver.
receiver.
We talked about that earlier.
I was just trying to get a super chat in, but thanks for.
Was that the
ruining this
one?
segment.
Was that the one?
That's the one I wanted to read.
I read his mind.
You got it. We read it.
Okay. Well, you know what? It's a 2-hour or 3-hour show. Sometimes we read things again.
Okay.
Anyway, let's continue. We had one more text to get to, though, right?
Oh,
Lucas?
yes, we do. And I stalled.
Lost it. Yeah, this is great.
From Edward in Austin said, we were ranked 69th in sacks, 42nd in rush defense, and 87th in pass defense last season. How much more of a drop-off could there be if you see a drop-off
about the defensive line?
Yeah.
I don't think the sacks did have something to do with the D-line. Elko's talked about it, how many sacks they missed last year. I think the number he said was 26 or 28. Obviously, you're not going to get every sack that you miss, but if you cut that number of missed sacks in half, they're probably. You pull up, Luke. Pull up total sacks last year, SEC team sacks, and add 13 to A&M's total. Tell me where they started. Tell me where they finished. I get your point, but that D-line had some really good games, whether you believe that or not. I mean, I'm just telling you factually, the defensive line had some really good games. I don't care what the total stats say. The D-line, to stop the run, it's more than just the defensive line. Pass defense is a hell of a lot more than just the defensive line. So, yes, I could name the games. We're looking at highlights from one in Florida that they certainly played well. I thought they played really well against Notre Dame. I think the two long runs that were sprung against Notre Dame were a direct result of bad angles and fit on the back seven. Otherwise, they stuffed that Notre Dame running game that a lot of teams couldn't stuff last year. So, I don't know where I come off on that Texas game because they got run all over. I can't say they played well in that one, but they also gave up two touchdowns to that offense in 4 quarters of play and created one themselves. And a lot of that pressure later in the game forced a couple of pivotal fourth quarter turnovers. So they could be worse. I don't think they will be. And I think statistically, I hope and I believe they'll be better in every one of those categories. Luke, go ahead.
A&M had 25 sacks last year, making them 13th in the SEC.
So put them at 38.
If you add 13 to that to get to 38, they would have been 5th.
Okay. Yeah. And I mean, that's
how different
that's a reasonable thing to say is to make half of the sacks that you just kind of flat out miss.
Well, and then how different do those games look if you are able to get the sellers early on and a few more times?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, we'll hit a break here. We'll come back with a final segment and then probably more. It's TexAgs Live presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. So now they're playing Van Halen. Am I a Van Halen kind of guy, you think? A little jump, Panama. I like to jump.
Have you seen any of the recent? It's a thing now. Have you seen any of the videos of Van Halen?
No, I haven't seen it.
They're
still with us.
Yeah. Well, Eddie's not.
Right.
But
David Lee Roth is
David
still
Lee
alive,
Roth
and
is
Sammy
still
Hagar.
and Sammy Hagar is. He's still going in Cabo, but David Lee Roth is doing performances, and they are so cringe-worthy. Like, he makes Axl Rose look like he's still singing like Adele. Like, it is so bad to watch. Anybody listening, if you haven't seen it and you're interested in seeing what David Lee Roth sounds like now, I would say, don't turn it up at the office because people think you're listening to a dying cat, but it's really, really bad. Like, he needs to stop. It's like a baseball player stumbling around the outfield that can't catch a pass, or a boxer that's just punch drunk. It's awful. Worst thing I've ever seen in music.
So we'll hopefully get a little. Well, I don't know if we'll get more clarity.
So yeah, you sound like a David Lee Roth guy, Van Halen. Now I think about it.
I'm just gonna take my time. I like doing the pauses with you.
All right.
Make it awkward. Anyway, as we close out the show, I don't know if we will get clarity from Coach Elko later on today, but running game. Obi and I talked about it in the first segment. Do you foresee, like, just for the next couple of weeks, how do you see Le'Veon's kind of workload?
I listened to y'all this morning. I'm more with you, or I think they work him up to it. If they need him this week more than they thought, but I just don't think you do, and that's no knock against UTSA. That is, I just think they have a nice stable that affords them the opportunity. Look, Ruben Owens needs carries. Ruben Owens needs touches and to get into the flow. This guy missed all of last year, basically. And the year before, he was a true freshman, just getting his feet wet. So get Ruben going. Jamari Morrow has been electric in fall camp. Amari Daniels has looked really good. He looks like the explosive back that might rip off a big run anytime he touches it. So you don't have to.
You don't have to. So do you expect there to be multiple guys getting looks the next couple of weeks, at least heading into Notre Dame?
Yeah, I do. Okay. And I think Le'Veon will be a part of that as well.
And then how do you think the offensive line shuffle could potentially look?
I don't think it'll look that shuffled until Follery's all the way back.
Okay.
And then you can have some fun with it.
All right. Let's go back to Luke Evangelist at the Angry Elephant News and Social Center.
Yeah, I'm here.
You want to give us something? A little perspective, a little thing as we close out the hour before Billy and I potentially do some more work?
Yeah. Let me find a little YouTube comment for you. Thoughts on maybe Ol Sarge as being a mascot?
Don't get me started. Y'all know I want it. I want Old Sarge. I don't really care about him being out there for football, but I want him in basketball, period. I've said it before. I've been to probably close to 100 NCAA tournament games. Am I exaggerating wildly there or no?
How many you said?
100.
NCAA tournament.
Been to like 11 A&M NCAA tournaments, and they've played. That's about. I've been to some Final Fours without A&M. Not 100 games. I've seen like 100 teams live in the NCAA, because every time A&M goes, I see 8 in that first round, first weekend. If they go another weekend, I see 4. So I've seen 3 times. I've seen 4 or 3. So there's 9, and like 11 times I've seen 8. So there's 88 minus A&M. So 80, 89, like 100. And then I've been to like 3 Final Fours. So yeah, I've probably seen 100 teams in March Madness, and 99 of them have a costumed, fun, flopping around.
I don't want an Old Sarge flopping around.
To the mascot.
I want like a
costume mascot. And there's one that doesn't, and that's my school. And that's a bunch of, are we still on air?
We got about a minute.
It starts with a B, ends with a T, and that's what it is. There's no reason not to try it out. I don't want a big creepy Reveille. We got the real Reveille. I don't want a creepy, giant, evil-looking collie. That would be weird. They kind of have a cone. It would have to be cone-shaped. I don't like it. But
I'm kind of into the idea right now.
But Old Sarge, 1,000% would be a badass mascot for basketball. Just stand him right there by the yell leaders and the dance team. Whatever.
At the minimum, maybe like an alternate logo. Michigan State and Notre Dame now have sports-specific, like Spartans and Irish.
Look, you don't even
leprechauns.
need that. Just put a mascot out, Luke.
True.
We're not trying to change the damn logo.
No, just like
mascot.
alternate, like the golf team. They've got great merch because they've got Old Sarge with the golf
Yeah.
club. That's fire. Maybe like Old Sarge dunking a ball or shooting a three. Like it was just a little
In a
logo
suit
for
and like
a quarter zip.
There's a trailer for Winnie the Pooh that is a killer, and a trailer of Popeye that's a horror movie. A little Reveille thought. Kind of, no, doesn't work for you?
You want to really creep yourself out? Go on Twitter and look up old mascots. Y'all ever see that? It's really weird.
We'll drop it right there. Billy, thank you for an incredible hour and 28 minutes. That'll do it for TexAgs Live on a Monday. Tomorrow on the show, I know Josh Pate's on. I know we got some former players on, and I know we'll get to your texts. Thank you so much for watching and listening. We'll see you mañana.